Good morning, good evening, everyone. What is happening, guys? Luke McGuire here. Let me know if you can hear me okay. I'm going to actually get my laptop out today as well because of my webcam issue. So I can actually use my webcam for you guys. How are you all? Good to see you today. Good. What's up, George, Shane, Jason, Nathan, Jennifer? What's up, guys? Good to see you all here today. Appreciate you all being here. It's going to be I'm really excited for today's training because I know, I guess over the past few weeks, we've obviously gone from introducing you to high level, probably getting you guys into a bunch of new features and tools and things that you either wouldn't have used in your business before, or if you have, maybe just a couple of them. Like I've said from the start, if I had have had the option to have the mental capacity to be able to have 15 different tools or even more so, all running at the same time, I probably would have made a lot more money online. But at the same time, in saying that, having just a handful of these tools working together is can be really game changing, and is really game changing for anyone that implements them. In the past, I've had to, like I've said in past webinars, get other people to do things, coders, developers, all of this wild stuff. But I've been so impressed with all of your work that you guys have been doing and implementing. And you know, from the start, there was a catch-22 in my head. I said to myself, look, I can either come in on this and share this tool with you, try to get you guys to understand how it all works, and create your own flows, create your own pages, create your own white label, if that's how far you want to go with it, create your own connections and connect your own leads and do it all manually and teach you how to do it manually. Or at the same time, there's ways where you can automate a bunch more stuff inside of Go High Level and just kind of give you finished products. But in my mind, while I know a lot of people prefer just this is a complete done for you solution, at the end of the day, I've never met anyone in business that's just taken any product that says, here you go, this is completely done for you, and then they actually succeed with it long term, because they don't actually know how to change things or work the system, or if a client needs something changed, or if your business, if you want to do something different, if you don't know how to use the platform first, it can be a bit more difficult, or you have to pay someone else, and it turns into this big, messy, frustrating, I guess, game of trying to figure out how to do things. So I'm really impressed on everyone watching the webinars. I know they've been quite long. The goal is from now on not to have them as long and keep the momentum going. Today is going to be a really fun one. And instead of, like a lot of people do on webinars, they'll wait till the end of a webinar to give a gift or a bonus or anything like, or something like that, right? To keep people on. As all of these webinars have been pure value, and everyone here watching on the replay or watching this now, I know is going to watch the entire thing, whether it's now or whether it's in the replay. We do have Mike coming on as well. He's driving back from, I don't know where he was driving back from. I know he's been in Las Vegas, and Go High Level just had their major event there, where they announced a lot of new features that everyone gets here as well, completely free inside of their accounts, which I'm really excited for you guys to see. But he is driving back, and he said he might be about 30 minutes late, which kind of worked out well, because I wanted to spend about 30 minutes kind of giving you guys a couple of snapshots, essentially, for a couple of different niches. And I guess the goal is, over the next week, I'm going to be giving you guys probably 10, 15 completed niche snapshots. Now, if anyone needs a recap on what a snapshot is, put a 1 in the box. And at the same time as well, I know there's a lot of people in here as well that are quite familiar with Go High Level, even more so than I am. Like Georgia, I know you've been using this for a long time, so I really appreciate anyone that's been on that knows a lot about Go High Level, have used it. I appreciate you guys watching these, I guess, beginner trainings as we move into more actionable advanced trainings over the coming weeks as well. Like I said, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to continue to be doing trainings. However, I will be segmenting out people that are either in the Go High Level trial, or I might even create another list for people that want to see those, because it's weird. I got some emails the past week. I got one yesterday saying that I'm the spawn of Satan by sharing this, by giving away Go High Level for free, and because I've emailed about it every week for the past month, plus all the bonus packs. So people are getting pissed off. At the same time, I don't really care about if someone's going to call me that over me giving free value and free content. Doesn't bother me. They've obviously got things going on in their life, so I essentially feel sorry for them in that sense. But essentially, I want to just segment out anyone that's interested in Go High Level, or just the automation and marketing side behind a business. Again, you can still choose to use 15 different tools. You can still use Calendly and ClickFunnels and MailChimp or GetResponse and all these different tools, but it just doesn't make sense to do financially or in any other way really as well. So let's get started in today's training. What I want to get started with is actually give you guys a snapshot, which again, I'll break down for you in a second on what it is and how to use them and whatnot, for the real estate niche. Now, what I'm going to be doing is to get started, the first handful of snapshots are just going to be basic flows for different things. So this could be, say, a lead page. Actually, let me pull up a Google Doc just so we can cover this neatly. I can give you the right links and whatnot as well. Now, if you haven't picked up your free trial yet, make sure you do, because it is going to close. This is actually probably going to be the Luke M. Probably going to be the last week we're going to be doing this. Also, the team at Go High Level have asked me, anyone that's a user of it, what you need it feature-wise, if there's anything else that you need included, please let me know, because I got direct access with the entire team there. We can get things done for you guys. That would normally probably be a bit harder to do unless they had a giant demand from a majority of people. Okay, cool. So this is, make sure you have your 30-day free trial, because the bonuses I'm going to be giving you guys today and over the next week are really essentially going to be broken down into you uploading it directly inside of Go High Level. So the goal, and remember, so right now, like, and I say this about any business, there's the main businesses that people make money online with are doing local marketing, affiliate, e-com, and they might have an offline business. This is essentially the main ways people make money online. Now, we've been focusing on local marketing, right? So essentially, you are the agency owner, which I know for a lot of people can seem quite intimidating. You might think, I've never done this before. How can I call myself an agency owner? But I can promise you that's just a mindset thing. I remember when I first started my local agency, I think I was 21, I was working in a car park parking cars, and I was walking into businesses saying, you need to be doing Facebook ads, and they'd laugh at me and say, Facebook's for kids. It's like MySpace. This is back in 2009 or something. But again, with the power of Go High Level, you are literally like it's almost like your Iron Man. You're the person inside the Iron Man suit, and the suit does all the work for you and can put you that far ahead of anyone else when you know how to use it right. And even if you only know how to use it semi-okay, it puts you quite far ahead. So you're the agency owner. So what we're gonna do is you're gonna need an agency presence online. So what I was thinking, depending on how long Mike talks today, when he comes on and what we share with Mike, or with what Mike shares, we'll either create our own agency flows and pages and stuff on today's training. But I know on the flip side, what we're going to be doing from there is then going out to local clients, or having local clients come to us through TikTok ads and Facebook ads that we've shared in previous webinars and will continue to share. We then are going to offer local businesses in different niches essentially 30-day free trial of Go High Level. Now, the key thing with this is that we're going to be selling it as Go High Level, and because you can create sub accounts for clients, we will sell them at $297 a month, right? Now, again, some people think it's a bit scary charging anything over X amount, and for each person it's different, right? I know when I got started, I got scared of charging anything for my services because I was just getting used to it. But the great thing is when you're selling software as a service, the software that would cost millions to produce, and especially one like Go High Level, it's absolutely it's saving them money from what they'd already currently be doing, and it generates some more sales and more leads than what they'd currently be doing. And the other question, which I've seen quite a few times come in, is essentially in past webinars, but I think people get the idea now, but I just wanted to go over it really quickly again, is that, okay, so we're selling it for $297 a month, because with your under your 30-day free trial with me here, ongoing forever, you can keep 100% of the sales price. Now, again, I want to say this as well, you can sell it for cheaper, for more, it's up to you what you sell it for, but we suggest selling it for $297 a month because that's what they sell it for on the Go High Level website. Now, the difference is by buying through you'll essentially have one, the knowledge of how to use Go High Level, because a dentist or a doctor or a surgeon or a lawyer or a painter or a real estate agent isn't going to want to go in and have to learn how to set up everything, how to do all these weeks of training that we've taught you to do. And on the flip side, for you, once you know how to do it once, you can then create the same campaigns for other people in that exact niche as well, and through Snapshots, which we'll touch on further in a second. So if that's confusing to anyone, don't stress, because I'm going to show you that. But the concept is if they went to Go High Level Direct, they'd get an account, but it'd have nothing in it. They wouldn't really know what to do, how to connect anything, how to set things up, how to create pages, how to have leads come in and add into different funnels and flows and anything like that, right? So that's why when they buy through you, that they'll already have all the key things they need set up in their account. So this could be things from I'll write this in, buying from you, they will already have everything set up from their niche. Now, Ratib says, what about a setup fee? You can do you can 100% do a setup fee if you want to, but again, in terms of wanting to get clients on board, we're doing the 30-day free trial. Because it's going to be so easy for you to set up with the snapshots that we provide you. It's going to take you 10 minutes maybe. That I often believe that over delivering with value, if it's not taking up much or any of your time, then essentially why wouldn't they, right? And again, so why wouldn't you offer that as a free trial? Sorry, I got caught on a question there, and I'll answer them in a second. So when buying from you, they've already everything set up from landing pages, from Facebook lead ad pages, TikTok pages, from websites to booking forms, to calendars, to call scheduling, to autoresponders, to lead flows, to different pipelines for different customers, like say like hot versus cold leads, follow-up sequences, text messaging, email marketing, all done for them in their exact niche, right? And over the past few weeks, we've taken you through how to go into each of these different sections and go high level and get and essentially create them. Last week, I think it was, we went into how to actually set up sub accounts for your clients. So again, when we go into go high level, where are we? Up here in the top corner, we've got both the agency view, which is here, and then we've also got our different accounts down here as well, our sub accounts. Remember, your agency account is the one that you control. Sub accounts down here are ones that are the ones that are going to be your clients. You said, I did a random one here, Luke's Fried Chicken Shop. We bought the domain name for this one called Pump Up Promo. Because we're talking about branding and creating an agency for a specific niche. And then we've got Surgeon Marketing Masters, which I think we bought that domain name, connected that in the past webinars as well. So in saying that, what the goal is to continuously give you guys different snapshots, flows, well, essentially all of this plus more pre-done for different key niches that you can install right away into your Go High Level account, and then you can essentially go out and start getting clients. And the second they say yes to the free trial, you just click boom, install Snapshot to their sub account for their trial, and then you can just go in, change that, add in their logo, add in their business name, add in a few basic things, and you are good to go. So, and some of like what we're going to be doing again, just to get started, so it doesn't over confuse everyone. And again, if there are like I know you are Georgia, a more advanced user, just to get started though, the snapshots we're creating are just real basic flows that we will add to. And the cool thing is we can add to these different flows, and we can even push those updates to your accounts if you decide you want us to do that as well. So we're essentially every month I want to give you guys 5-10 really good new snapshots for different niches. So let me go in quickly. Which one? We did one for painters, but let's go have a look at the real estate one. So what we've done here, and this is essentially what I'm going to give you guys. I'll give you guys this one on today's webinar. Why not? But then we can go into the other ones shortly. Give me 1 second here. If there's any questions so far, does everything I've said make sense so far? If there's any questions so far, let me know before I go into this. Cool. Gary says not without the snapshots loaded. Correct. So we're going to go into that in just a second. But essentially, this is just a basic real estate niche account that I thought I'd make, because real estate agents, they're all about branding, getting out there, being seen. The good thing about real estate agents that I like as a niche is that they see the value straight out the gate in marketing. They see the value. They love getting their faces out there, and it's part of it, right? Like, I'm sure wherever you live in the world, there's other different real estate brands, or even more so specific people that you know as the go-to real estate person, and they probably do a lot of branding and pamphlet drops and billboards. Like, funnily enough, one of my best friends, actually my very best friend, he started dating this girl in the same building, and he bought this billboard directly across the road, so that every morning she wakes up, there's this giant, ridiculously big LED billboard of him for his marketing, right? And real quick, Kevin says, what is the snapshot for marketing to get customers? So are you saying from an agency point, from you being the agency, or from a client place? So right now we're focusing on the clients. Later on we're going to go in and build our agency one out ourselves, because I don't want you guys all to have the exact same agency website. But at the same time, I'm going to give you guys a bunch of different agency snapshots in the coming weeks. Coming days. Sorry. So anyway, we're in real estate here. That's why I think it's a really great niche, because of those reasons mentioned. So let's go into sites. Wait 1 second. I might actually have to install this snapshot here. Switch to agency view. Let me go down to real estate. Manage client. Actions. Load snapshot. Proceed. Actually, so what I'll do first here to show you how this will work, I'm going to give you guys a link in a minute. It's going to then give you, it'll then add the snapshot into your account. So under agency, I'm going to go into account snapshots. I'm going to create a snapshot. Actually, we've got here that I can share with you guys in a second. But let me actually just go into our dashboard, sorry. Back. Sub accounts. I'm going to go down to real estate. I'm going to go manage the client. I'm going to go actions, load snapshot, real estate, proceed. And these are all the things that we've built out just for this specific client. Now, or this specific niche, right? So there's a few things in here. If you want to go in, you can add certain ones, you can say no to other ones. If you've already built something out for a client and you want to skip certain things, you can. But we're just going to proceed and add it all in now. I'm just going to override it. Okay. And then we'll go over to real estate. And Gary, I'm going to send you a link for the initial snapshots, so you don't have to worry about how do you get the snapshot. I'm going to give you a link in a minute on getting on that. You'll just click and then it will add it into your account. I'm going to show that with you in a second, but I just want to just go through what will be inside the snapshot before you actually get started with it. So we'll let that load for a second. Let me know any questions you guys have so far as well. Sometimes it can take a minute, sometimes it doesn't. So again, while that's happening, let's just talk about niches. And I want to know what niches you guys are in, and what if there's any specific niche you are going after, because I want to get some built out for you in your specific niches. And the thing is, when it comes to creating snapshots, look, you can create, there's people that can create them for you, you can create them yourself, but this is where I think the marketing side of things can really play a important role of how to write good sales copy, and how to actually connect with the customer. And they're things that we're trying to provide for you in the snapshots that we create. Okay, so we've got financial services, photographers, coaches, and course creators. That's a really good one, Georgia. Now medical and ecom, yeah. And the thing is, you'll often find that people, especially in coaches and courses, that they will often be doing a mix of local marketing and affiliate marketing and ecom, right? They'll be doing a bit of everything. And now we're going to go, let me see if it's imported correctly, because it may not have here. Pipelines. Okay, gotcha. It seems like I might not have actually, the sites haven't imported here properly just yet. So let me go ahead and go back and switch for a second. I think Mike might be on in a minute too. So if he is, I'll see where he is now. He's not on here just yet, but he will be soon. And I will ensure I double back on this straight after with you guys, and just see what's going on with, let me switch to the sub account here with it. Let me just see. Or I'm just having a massive, I don't even want to say blonde moment, but it should have imported everything across into our account here. So while that goes on, let me know what other niches you want me to touch on as well, and I'll see. Well, let's go up here. Oh, here we go. Sorry, found it already. My bad. Up here, so sites. I was looking at funnels. That's totally my bad. I actually did that all correctly. And don't worry, I'll do a quick little video after this as well, just doing that whole part again for you guys, on how to actually install that snapshot. I'm going to send you the link in a second, and we can follow along together. But under sites, up the top here, under websites, we've got two different essential websites here. So let's have a look at this one here. And this has got multiple pages in it. They're all built out for you. Now this is for a real estate niche. So again, we've got essentially anything here that you want to get rid of, like this. Don't want that photo. We're going to go ahead and delete that, and we can put a different photo in here right away. And we can change all of these different key elements here to say whatever we want. And a little video. All these buttons are all connected directly into the right areas inside of your account, and it's literally that simple. So this is a lead page for people that are essentially trying to sell their house, people that are trying to get their, and then for real estate agents that are trying to get business. to sell people's houses, right? Now, if we go back, give me 1 second here. If we go back here, we've got other ones from booking appointments, questionnaires. Inside here, we've got the calendars already set up. The calendars are also going to be on the site. So if I go websites, and what I actually might do when Mike comes on shortly, because I see it's just popped on now as well, what I'm actually going to do is go in and actually change some text in these as well, saying, say your logo here, because instead of just dummy content, I'm going to say put real estate image here, so it can be completely, you'll know exactly where to actually go, what to change, everything like that. You can go in and do that right away. So then we've got the wholesaling side of things here for the real estate agencies. But if we go back here into acquisitions, we've got the appointment booking, the calendar's already all set up. So when any client essentially books in any times or calls or anything like that, the client will be able to go over here in the calendars and they can see that. They can have the app on their phone. And if you need to change anything from any of this information, say we want to go into the surveys, we can go in here and change any key information that we want. But again, we've set it all up for essentially being ready to go for that niche. And again, the goal is over the next week, I'm going to send out like another 10 for different niches, and I'm going to do some that you guys have let me know here live, and also some that people send via replay. And every week or two, or maybe even every couple of weeks, I'll add in some new ones as well. In saying that, we set up some basic automations in these as well. So for the acquisition, SMS to new lead, we've got an appointment no-show if someone doesn't turn up. Lead booking, lead books an appointment. But these are just essentially super basic ones to get you guys started. So, and we're going to build these out for more advanced and longer flows for you guys. But again, the goal is just to get you guys set up, getting clients, and then we'll be adding more and more. And again, you can see here, it'll be added into the survey or the form submitted. The SMS will be sent to the clients. This is the type of information that you'll need to change. So I'll write name here, and I'll change this from, and then you'll put in your company here or your client's name here. Client's name here. Quick calls text work better. We can wait. If we don't hear back from them, we can do a follow-up, and we're going to add more and more to these different flows as well. But again, I just wanted to give you guys some real basic ones so you can go in and actually, I want you guys to be in here using them, using Go High Level and using these different tabs and tools and features without feeling too overwhelmed. Because again, what's here in just this is doing more than what 99% of people do literally in their marketing efforts at all. And if I'd say a real estate agent is paying a local business or a marketing company, they'd be paying thousands for even this type of service with websites and landing pages and different calendars and opportunities. So we've also got added in here those different questionnaires, and depending on how they answer, it'll depend if they've become a hot lead or if they a follow-up lead, or if they've set an actual appointment. And again, what I'll do shortly is I'll show you another example potentially. I did one for painters as well for you guys. So for people that want to go out, I saw that on last week's webinar. People want to go out and target painters. So yeah. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go actually just go in and make a few changes in these in this, so there's not going to be any logos or anything that could be mistaken. That when you install this snapshot, which again I will get to in this training, I just send you a link, it'll add it into your account. But what I want to do is just change a few things, just so that if you ever forgot to add, say, logo here, it's not going to be a generic logo that I've added for you guys, and then the client's like, well, why is this person's logo on my page? And look, like the chances of that happening are low, but I always want to minimize the risk. So what I'm going to do is I'll do that. And I know Mike's just jumped on here as well. So Mike, if you're there, my friend, let me know. I'll let you take over for a bit. I know Mike's just had an insane week again, like I said, out in Vegas, and getting work done and being busy as hell. And being out at the Go High Level event, so I'm sure he can share some of the insane new additions and things that they've got coming. Last week as well, I think I shared a touch base. If you hit settings in the bottom left-hand corner down here, there was the beta feature. Where was it? Let's move under labs. Yeah, under labs, you can try a bunch of their new features and sections down here as well, new things that they've got coming out. Looks like they've taken a few of them away or made them actually live since last week, which is cool to see. But Mike, if you're here, my friend, chuck your mic on and I'll let you take over while I get these final edits to this snapshot made for everyone. Oh, there he is.
What's up, everybody?
What is up, Mike? Good to see you. Made it out of Vegas live. I called him before. I said, did you have any big nights? And he said, no, just on the absolute grind, doing trainings every day, and grinding, getting it done.
Man, we have fun though. We just got back from the high level conference. I actually just drove back. It was in Dallas, and then I came back to Austin, and I'll head back to Miami tonight. But it was awesome. It was awesome. We got to perform. Me and Chris Recker got to do a high level rap for everybody, and yeah, just got to connect with like a lot of amazing people that are just absolutely crushing it with high levels. So they are just on the whole theme over there is like it's like an outer space theme. But man, everybody is definitely taking off in the rocket ship out there, making lots of money.
It's insane. I just saw a comment from Tim saying, "Hi Mike, do you have the link to your rap video with Chris? Would love to see it." And it's funny you said that. I said that's the first thing I said to Mike. I had a call with him maybe an hour or two ago, and I said, "Mate, have you got signed by any record labels?"
I could probably play it for you guys if you guys want to see it. Y'all want to see it?
Yeah, I think you should at some point in this stage. I want to see it, but what else? Yeah, we definitely have to see that for sure on this training or at the end or at some point. But just to update you on what we've just covered, I just went over basically essentially how we're going to be giving them a bunch of new snapshots for different niches every single week, and we went through just one of them here. I haven't given them the install link yet. So guys, again, just to triple check that you guys understand this, is that I was just showing you through the basic flows of everything we built out just for this one real estate niche. And what you're going to get is everything I just shared with you. I'll give you a link that I'll share after Mike's done his part of this training, that we can then install it live together. You can even do it with me in a window live. So then you can have it all there for you, so you can then understand, okay, I've got this snapshot for real estate niches. I can literally go out right now and start onboarding real estate clients. And then each time you get a new client, you literally can just copy that snapshot again to client 2, to client 3, to the client number 4. And that, I know there was a question earlier saying, do we charge an onboarding fee when we're doing a 30-day trial with local businesses? Look, because it takes 2 seconds to copy a snapshot across, which will copy everything from the funnels to the websites to the different calendars to all of the key resources that industry needs that you've already got, that's already been built for client A, or even just built in general, because we're giving you these snapshots. You can just replicate them, change their photo, change the logo in 2 seconds in the page builder, which again, I'll show you how to do as well. And if you've watched the past webinars, you'll know how to do that by now. It's so easy. Takes 2 seconds to do that. It makes it just such a no-brainer to get people onboarded, indoctrinated, and get them leads coming into their businesses. So that's kind of what we've covered just up until now on this training. And I said that you'd been at the convention, that you can probably share some cool new things that are coming out on Go High Level that they might have announced, if you're allowed to talk about any of that. But yeah, also, I guess tying it back into the, I don't know if you want to do any more lead gen training or anything like that, or I'll leave it up to you with what you we want to cover today, and we can go from there. But essentially, we want to ensure you guys have everything set up. You're getting the snapshots now. You get the picture. You get the traffic side of things, and we're going to just continue working on this this format here. And I also mentioned at the start that look, you can use Go High Level for affiliate and ecom as well. Well, ecom, as you mentioned, that they've just announced, which I haven't even really gone into. I haven't gone into at all, actually, to be honest. That there's some massive opportunities for all niches here. This is one of those really rare products that works for anyone really in any niche, and we want to give you the resources, not just to be able to automate everything, but also the learning resources to be able to use this and literally not need to use any other software, because it's all done for you in a super clean, easy way here.
Heck yeah. Well, shoots, yeah,
Yeah.
I'll play you guys a little clip from the video if I can share my screen, or from the convention. It's kind of funny because, well, you'll see I'll show you guys on the video real quick, and then we'll dive into some training. All right, let's see what we got here. All right, let's see. So to preface this, Chris gave the closing keynote. So Billie Jean gave the opening keynote. And then, you know, when Chris went on, they played a rap that Billie Jean and Chris had done, which is called Entrepreneurs Got Choices. If you guys check it out on Google, it got like a ton of views. And then basically he ended his speech, and this was like the thank you screen, but it was kind of like it was a fake thank you screen. So you'll see, but basically the screen comes up and it's like, okay, thank you, my speech is done. And then we did like a little music video at the end, but I'll play you guys a clip from it. Can you guys hear the audio? Could you hear that?
Yeah, I could hear that for a second then.
Okay. Will it pull audio off the computer?
Yeah, it'll pull audio, but hit play for a second. Oh yeah, now I can't hear that. I thought I heard something before. There is a way to do it.
It's muted, but if I mean, it'll pull it off the mic, but I didn't know if it could like pull directly from the. But here, let's see, computer audio, phone call. Anyway, I'll just play it. You guys can hear it from the mic. General. Anyway, you'll probably get the idea here. Let's see.
I can't hear anything. Oh, there we go. But you might struggle. I'm trying to get around my friends, the right middle and the right hustle. We gonna teach you how to focus on the fundamentals. Working on my LTV, focused on my CTL. 20K, get your payment. I'ma keep it real. 20 mil, I'll get you feeling like you get your energy. Just so set up, yeah, see, I can talk to get your haters double jealousy. So that's why I'm
Building out my agents, all the tools for babies, logging into all these apps and trying to be crazy. G, had to find a way to automate it with a strategy. Working on a mission, trying to be myself a sound. Focus on your vision, don't give up no bad creativity, create your own reality. Visualize, visualize up together. See something for a rise, change your lives with no strategy. Got my hook and lure, I'ma catch you like a connoisseur. White label, that's to keep it moving on the side. As a pure blood hustler, as the need mature, people only mature. Now they call me a entrepreneur. To the scene, looking clean, I'ma do my thing. Working with my team, I've been delegating everything. I used to work on apps every day, I had like 17. Maybe switch to high level, now I'm stepping up. I'm about to activate my plan, it's time to rise. They kept on telling me my dream was impossible, but I'm unstoppable. I kept it moving, I was overcoming obstacles. You were the high level, I'm trying to focus on the wins, living my struggle. I'm trying to get around my friends for right now, and the right hustle. We gonna teach them how to focus on the fundamentals.
How good.
So
Mate,
that was yesterday.
they didn't cheap out on the setup they did though, or Chris on his videos, or like, you know, the white hoodie, by the way, sick. And you know, I once asked Chris to record, I said, is his hat like stitched onto his head? And I said, please let me get a photo with you without a hat. And it was, I asked him for maybe, I don't know, months, and finally got one. But I don't think I've ever shared it. Maybe I will, maybe I won't, because actually no, I won't share it unless he wants me to. But it's
actually funny because we were roommates, and he never wore a hat before. And then it was while we were roommates that he bought this one like orange Ezekiel hat. And then somebody took a picture, and he just liked the picture so much that he like used it everywhere. And then it just kind of like organically became his thing. But I was like there when the whole orange hat actually became a thing.
Yeah, that's sick. Well, no, and that looks like an insane event as well. And well done, bro, for getting up on stage. I don't think I'd have the balls to be able to rap. But also, if anyone's from Australia here, you know how frustrating and horrible Aussie rap sounds. I don't know if you've ever heard it, Mike. Aussie rap, there's maybe one artist that's all right, but it just sounds like the most rough, ruthless. It's just not cool. Anyway, so yeah, I wouldn't be trying that unless I had an American accent.
Well,
no,
yeah,
but that's it.
Yeah, let me kick it off. I'm going to talk to you guys a little bit about paid traffic, and then we'll dive into high level a little bit.
Sounds good.
Let's see here.
And guys, like I said, what I'll do, what I actually will do as well, I'll pull up my other computer that has my webcam on. If I do need to say anything, I'll either just jump in. I'll turn my mic on and jump in, but I'll try to turn my webcam on. But at the same time, I'll be editing that snapshot with those little edits out, and then I'll be providing you guys that link. If anyone does have to jump off early, don't worry, I'll send it out. What I'm going to be doing though is, because of all these new snapshots that I'm building, I'm trusting them with you guys, that you don't then just go out and share them to random people. I'm not going to post them publicly on YouTube, like the webinar replays. I'm going to have to essentially put them in a different place where only people that are inside of high level, through my link or on my trial or anything like that, can access them, because it's for you guys, it's not for the rest of the world. So I'll find a special way to get them out after this training. I'll probably just in a little high level member area that I'll create for you guys, and I can put all the replays and ongoing snapshots and all those little things in there. So every time you log in, you'll be able to access those easily. So, but yeah, what I'll do is I'm going to take those little edits that I mentioned I was going to do, and Mike, I'll also be listening as well. So I'll jump in if there's anything I want to add to any point.
Cool. Sounds good. Well, what's going on, everybody? Yeah, definitely got a lot to get you guys up to speed on after the event. Let me see here. So let me whip this down here. All right. So Essentially, couple big things that are coming out right now is going to be one is going to be e-commerce. So they're going to release like an entire e-commerce platinum platform. So high level's goal is really to be like, a true Swiss Army knife tool for kind of anything and everything that you would possibly need. Another big one that's coming out is going to be a lot of AI integrations. So I'm going to actually get you guys a list of a lot of cool AI tools that you guys can kind of use, with high level and just kind of in general for marketing. But one of the big things that I found is just the community is just kind of become so vast, and so there's just a lot of plug and play options. And so I'll kind of do a download with Luke this week, and so kind of next week we can kind of put something together special as far as kind of taking a lot of what we were able to kind of get from this conference, because they just released just a ton of stuff, and so we want to kind of get you guys up to speed on all that stuff and how you guys can utilize it. There's also just a ton of partners in the community that are doing a lot of stuff as far as with fulfillment and all that kind of stuff. But I want to walk you guys through a little bit of paid traffic. I just did a paid traffic kind of class for Atlas, and so that's Chris's program. And so I want to kind of walk you through a few of the fundamentals with paid traffic there, kind of how that can apply for you, and and just kind of also walk you through a little bit of how I was able to really scale up in some of the different ways that you can really utilize utilize high level. But one of the cool things about the trip was I just met so many people that are just absolutely crushing it with so many different things. I mean, even single partnerships. So I mean, I ran into the one guy I hadn't seen in a while. I think Luke might even know him, Damian Rufus. Somebody, it's like we've been in the game for so long. I looked at him, and I think when I first met him, he had like 3 gray hairs, and now he's got like a full gray beard, and I'm like, dang, it's like time flies. But anyway, he was doing a deal there as an example where he just brought on one person that they're doing a white label of high level, and this guy is very successful. He runs a kind of a group out of Atlanta, and just from that one connection, they decided to white label high level, do the same kind of deal that we were talking about, where just charging $297 a month, and they split it 50-50. So they basically went on at 50-50, and the guy didn't even know high level. He actually came out to the conference, and their initial community is somewhere around like 400 people, right? So they're immediately onboarding 400 people at $297 a month. So you can do the math on that. It's some pretty big numbers. I mean, that's what are we talking about? We're talking about like $120,000 a month in recurring, and they're just splitting it 50-50 and like basically moving this whole community over to high level. And anyway, it was cool to see that there's just like so much opportunity for people to use this kind of software. Like there's really no other Swiss Army knife tools like this out there. And so just sitting down with the guys and seeing that all kind of happen on one single deal where they're literally white labeling high level, I thought it was pretty awesome. So let me bring up my whiteboard here, and I'm gonna kind of walk you guys through some stuff. Let's see here. All right, so let me just share my screen. Let's see. Only see Luke's doors are open. All right, go ahead and
I can give you help. Give me 1 second.
someone Someone says you
Yeah.
advise not to white label.
Well, no, well, I was saying how we're teaching not to white label out the gate for beginners and sell it as go high level.
Oh, okay.
But
So let me clarify this too. When I say white label, I am not a big fan of put the okay. So you meet tons of these people at the conference, right? And you know, to I guess when I say white label, to clarify what I'm talking about here is still keeping the high level logo on there, not to put your logo on it, because that creates issues as far as, when people say, well, hey, how do I use the software? Do you guys have support? Do you guys have this? Do you guys have that? So what I like to do is just leave the high level logo on there, because at the end of the day, like I said, if you match their 297 pricing, you're going to essentially not lose anybody, as if you are providing enough snapshots. Like, there's actually a business there called Extendly, and all they do for high level users is they essentially like do support. So if you wanted to like start an agency and you want basically somebody to onboard and do all that kind of stuff, they do that. And then they provide like 3 snapshots. And like one of their big pitches, they're one of the vendors there, and they had just tons. I mean, they must have done, I don't even know, hundreds of thousands of dollars in sales at this event. But one of their big pitches is the snapshots, and they'll be like, hey, look, we're going to give you 3 of our very, very, very best snapshots, and just the snapshots alone are basically worth the price of admission. They're worth, $5,000 or $10,000 or whatever the number is. And so that's really where the value is, right? And so Luke is going the extra mile, like the extra 10 miles for you guys, and doing something that I haven't really seen anybody do, which is he's going out and making sure that everybody that is staying on with us and really rocking is going to get a lot of really, really high quality snapshots, because that's the secret sauce. Like, the thing about it is and I'm going to walk you guys through some of this stuff today, but there's so much tools and so many things that come out all the time in the world of software. It's like, oh, this is the greatest thing, and oh, this is the greatest thing. And we hear it so much that we like tune it out, right? It's like, is it the greatest thing, or is it just a sales pitch, or are these guys just trying to like sell me something, or it's just, you don't know what's what, and just everybody's saying it's the greatest thing. So it's kind of like the boy who cried wolf, is like, you don't know if there's a wolf or not, or in this case, you don't know if it's the greatest thing or not. And so one of the things that I want to help you guys to do is actually know what the real greatest things are, right? And so one of them for sure is going to be these snapshots, because it gives you an unfair advantage, right? It's essentially when you and look, you don't have to really take my word for it on any of this stuff, because you can really just use your common sense. So it's kind of like one of those things where you got to tell yourself, okay, Mike, I hear what you're saying. That makes sense, because yes, everybody is telling me that their thing is the latest and greatest, and therefore I understand what you mean when I basically am like numb to the fact when people say, oh, check out this feature, check out this. It's just like, it all feels like, it's hype at the end of the day, right? But the truth is that there are some things in there that are not hype. And in fact, there are things that are so good that even no matter how good you talk about them, they're actually underrated at the end of the day, because they are so powerful. And so snapshots are one of those things, because it's allowing you to literally make a duplicate of anything and everything in a software, right? And so for those of you guys that don't know the background on this, let me bring up my whiteboard real quick, because that way I can show you guys better than I can tell you. And then I want to dive into some paid ad stuff, because this is really what's going to be one of the big things that can power your business, and we can talk a little bit more about that. But let me bring up my whiteboard real quick.
And when you do that, like again, you'll often find this as well in JVZoo world as well, like, or if you're buying JVZoo products, sometimes like the word white label will be used by people, and they'll think, okay, I can brand everything, change things around, do this, and you can do like all of that inside of Go High Level. But the way we're teaching, if you're a complete beginner here, and just to get you guys making money, and I think it's just an easier, less mind like time consuming thing is it's essentially reselling. You're reselling it, but with all these additional snapshots inside. So it's more of a reseller mindset than white label. I'm sure we'll get into white labeling for those that want to take it to that level and brand it yourself and do all of that. But we want to give you guys the maximum amount of money and with the minimal amount of time and mental stress and needing support teams and all these other things as well. So it's yeah, think of it like a reselling, but they get a lot more by doing it through you.
Yeah, and so let me just kind of explain this to you guys too, because high level is interesting. It's kind of like when you look at a business, one of the things you have to understand about business is that the way that you kind of start the locomotive, like the direction that it's going on the train tracks, once it's going fast enough at a certain trajectory, it's very hard to go a different direction, right? And so I am sure if high level could do everything over again, they probably wouldn't do it this way just because they make so much less money. They actually have me and Chris were kind of joking about it because they actually have like a spreadsheet that tracks, this is going to sound crazy, but basically tracks all the money they don't make, because they have so many people, and we'll call this resell / white label, right? Because on this, they don't make any money, right? You're making 100% of the money. And the only difference here between resell and white label is, we'll just say this one has the GHL logo, right? So you're not changing, because all you're doing is changing the logo. Like, let's be honest, like when you're going into this, I was one of the few people that when I did do this, I actually hired a CSS expert to go in and actually program it to look different. And I am like one of very few people that have ever done that. But for the most part, people are literally just switching out their logo, right? So this is GHL logo, and this would be like your logo. That's the only difference here, right? As far as when we talk about like reselling versus white label. But the difference between affiliate and resell is that as an affiliate, you make a 40% commission when you get somebody to sign up for high level. Put commission here. And when you're reselling it, right, you're making 100%, right? That's the big difference. So, you know, for a lot of people, like big people, Tai Lopez is one of those people. There's some big people out here that literally go to this direction because of this, right? They're like, wait, why would we want to make 40% when we can make 100%? Now, Luke didn't do this, right? Luke could have easily done this, and it's very tempting for a marketer to go this direction, right? Because making 100% versus 40% is a big deal. But this is the fact that Luke actually brought you in directly to high level is much less advantageous for him, but much more advantageous for you, right? Like I actually because I'm the super affiliate manager for high level, and I'm the only super affiliate manager for high level, you know, a lot of times, like I reach out to guys, I'm like, look, like this really, like if you really want to support your community and, you know, you want to really do this right, like you should go this route. And there's so many times I'll talk to these huge affiliates, and no matter how much I tell them to go this route, they're like, no, I want to get, you know, I want to get the 100%, right? And so, you know, you guys are lucky that Luke set you up properly, because this is the way that it's supposed to be. Now, when we talk about snapshots, this is where, you know, if you're bringing somebody on and they're paying $297 here versus $297 here, right? And like I said, when I say white label, I don't really ever want you to do this. Your logo, no thanks, right? There are a few circumstances where it makes sense, but just for the most part, especially if you're starting out, like I said, if you're doing the price matching, then you're not going to lose anybody by them knowing it's GHL, right? Because, and we've talked about this before, is that over here on the affiliate side, right, what are they getting? You know, they have a 97 and a 297. The 297, which is the high-end plan, you're getting unlimited accounts, right? And that's great for you. That's exactly what you as an agency owner or as a business owner want, is this ability to create unlimited accounts. And that's why I was even talking about, you know, Damian Rufus and running into him. It's like he just made one partnership where he's using, you know, he's basically, you know, setting up the white label, setting up, you know, 400 accounts at $297, and then just splitting it with his friend that has a community. So they're both making $150 times 40, or I'm sorry, times 400. So it's like they're each going to be chopping up like 60,000 each just off of one deal, you know, one client, which is crazy. You know, I mean, that's crazy money for a single deal. I mean, you're talking about, you know, $50,000, $60,000 a month residual for each of them, right? And so this is the power of this. But like I said, high level, if they could have done this all over again, they, you know, absolutely would not have done it this way, because it just creates too much opportunity for people that really exploit it. Now, it's a numbers game for them, right? Because they know 99 out of 100 people are going to kind of stay within the parameters and they're not going to like oversell it. But I even gave you an example of, you know, one of my referrals, Joe Brown with Deer Doc. You know, he brought on 5,000-6,000 doctors that he's actually charging $397 a month, right? So this guy's making 25+ million a year, and he's paying high level like less than $1,000 a month, right? It doesn't seem fair, but it's one of those things where the train was just going so fast in a certain direction, and as soon as they brought on about 60 million in private equity money at a really high valuation, so they didn't even have to give up control of the company. And in doing that, they wanted to just look, if it's not broke, don't fix it. Yes, we have these outliers that are exploiting the system, but you know, we don't want to turn the whole train around just because of these outliers. So what I encourage you to do is, knowing this, be that outlier, right? It's like, by you knowing this and having the knowledge is power, where you can seriously exploit the system. And they're not going to be mad about it, right? I mean, at the end of the day, it's a success story for them, right? And so, like I said, it's kind of weird because on this side where, again, you're making 100%, they actually have a spreadsheet that essentially tracks all the money that they don't make, right? So it's like, sounds crazy, but essentially, you know, they have like basically a leaderboard for people that are just absolutely crushing it on this model, even though high level is getting 0% of this, right? So anyway, my point being here is, when we talk about this side, right, this is unlimited accounts. Here, the way what we're giving people instead is these snapshots, right? And this is going to be what Luke is putting together for you, that I've not seen any other marketer do at the level that he's doing, except I see Extendly doing it at this event, and they must have signed up. I mean, their minimum package is $6,000 a year to do it. Luke's basically throwing it in for free, but that's like their biggest selling point, is like, look, it's $6,000, and like we're going to give you like, you know, $6,000 to $10,000 worth of just snapshots, you know, and that's going to basically get you off on the right track. But again, a lot of these times, like we're what's the word? We're just like, we're numb to these words, like, oh, snapshots is the next latest and greatest thing. And it's like, okay, well, is it or not? And now we got to run it through our like little brain processor to be like, okay, is this really as good as you say it is? And so, like I said, I want to kind of be a voice of reason for you, to, you know, kind of show you a couple things that I think are not only not overrated, but I would say even highly underrated, and snapshots would be one of them. The reason is because every single piece of high level is copyable, right? So you have everything from text to email to your CRM sequences to, you know, all of your messenger sequences to your live chat, your funnels, even websites. And we talked about this, you know, on one of the calls. I mean, forms, review generators, you know, and the list goes on and on. I mean, I'm running out of space even, but I mean, I could draw like 20 things here. All of these things are copyable, right? And so this is where you can excel. Like, this has never been possible forever in history, right? So this is where, again, if you have these snapshots, this is value, right? So Alex Hormozy actually said this. We have the difference between price and value. We have price and we have value. And the difference, or the distance between the price that we're charging and the value that we're giving is goodwill, right? And so the thing about the thing about snapshots is when you create it one time, and you want to generate as much goodwill as possible, right? If I can charge you $297 a month for something that essentially has a value of, let's say, $5,000 a month to the company, the distance here is building goodwill, right? And so you want as much of that as possible. Now, we only have so much time, right? So time is our most valuable asset, right? So before snapshots and before this ability to basically make a Xerox copy of all of this stuff, it's harder to do that, right? You can do it with outsourcers, you know, basically try to make a margin off outsourcers. I mean, that was kind of the original agency model. I mean, I was doing that, 15 years ago, right? I'm going to India and I'm paying somebody $10 an hour, and then I'm charging $100 an hour for SEO. I also have some really great SEO outsourcers that I met out there too. I'm gonna talk with Luke to kind of get you guys a full download of kind of all the value I got out there, because there's so many people that can kind of plug and play into your agency. But you know, this is one of my original models, right? Is like, this is what I was paying for SEO, this is what I was charging, and so I was making the difference, right? And so, but this is like not a great scalable model at the end of the day, because it's like you're scaling people, right? And so software is one of those unique opportunities where you can actually, you know, scale much higher than people, right? Because you can actually, you know, have you know, systems that you don't require you to actually manage people. But before the ability to kind of copy it, it wasn't quite as easy as it is now, until ClickFunnels came out with something called ShareFunnels. And that's kind of what pioneered this whole snapshot idea, right? Is they basically had the same concept of snapshots, but it was just for funnels, right? And then when Sean made High Level, he saw this. Sean's like a very, very smart CEO. I mean, he's gone to Warren Buffett's, you know, summit every single year for many, many years. I mean, he's just a student of the game, and hell of a nice guy too. I really like Sean Clark, for those of you that know him or know of him. But you know, I've had a lot of talks with him about this, where it's like he saw this and how well it worked, and he's like, well, sheesh, we're a Swiss Army knife, right? We got 16 apps in our system, or 15 apps at the time. What if we make this same share funnel concept for all of these, right? Where now you can basically press a button and you can make a Xerox copy of everything, right? So this is what allows you to scale, right? Imagine that you have these 16 apps: email, text, CRM, funnels, websites, live chat, review generators, like every single app in High Level, right? If you have that built out, it's very, very, very easy to have $10,000 worth of value in there, built in easily, okay? When you have it all built out. So if you have the ability to have a $10,000 value piece that you can literally just press copy, press copy, press copy, that is basically like a ticket to print money for you, right? Because essentially, let's say you're charging, you know, whatever it is, if it's $1,000, or maybe it's, again, you're just including it for the $297 a month. Well, now you're essentially pushing this, because $297 a month is just, that's just the software itself, right? That's not all of these share funnels included. So when you can literally press copy over and over and over again and deliver 10, and as you grow, even 20K plus worth of value in the press of a button by doing snapshots, you're building a lot of goodwill, right? And you're doing something that has never been done before, right? You're new to this. Like you're on the forefront of this new trend, which is this ability to really like take a Swiss Army knife app and press the copy button. And so this is where really a lot of opportunity is. Imagine that if you walked into, whatever your niche is, if you're going to go after, roofers, or you're going to go after, solar companies, or doctors, or dentists, or chiropractors, or personal injury attorneys, or whatever your niche is, and you can go to them and you can be like, hey, if you sign up with me, because a lot of people, we've heard it before. It's like, well, why would I sign up with you if it's $297 to go to high level? Well, imagine you're in that doctor's shoes, and you can either go to high level and you can spend $297 and basically just get the software and start from scratch, or you can go to your company, you can get the software, but you've got $20,000, like real money. This isn't like fake value. This is like, I'm talking real value, real funnels, real websites, real emails, real text. And this is the type of stuff that Luke is going, like I said, not just the extra mile, but he's going like the extra 10 miles. And I didn't even really suggest this. Like, this is something that I do, but Luke is just so smart that he picked up on it immediately. He's like, well, the best thing I could give my community is snapshots. And I'm like, yeah, bro, you're on top of the game.
Mhm.
He's like,
Yeah,
all right, well, I'm gonna go get the best snapshots built ASAP for my community, because like I want to support them.
Exactly. And just on that point as well, it was when I was going through it as well, and I was having a look at, like, I was thinking, like, there's two parts to it. One being, like, obviously the snapshots feature is just so insane at what it does, but then two, it comes down to marketing. I was like, how can I provide more value to you guys ongoing? And that's why I was saying, I think I mentioned it briefly at the start of this webinar. I said I might even do a whole webinar on it if you guys are interested, on things like, you can have all the best flows and funnels and whatnot in the world, but if it's the other part of it is getting the right sales copy. How do you write text that's engaging? What's the difference between selling via email versus selling via SMS versus just trying to build rapport versus value only? And then how do you then write that text? And that's essentially what I'm going to be providing you guys in these snapshots ongoing as well. So it's not just the flows and everything, but we're going to be it's going to be including all of the what I believe is the right type of sales text, and how, because that's the one thing I just feel like I'm the best at, is knowing how to write good copy that sells. All my sales pages I've ever done, I've always written them myself, and it's with the skill sets that I'll teach you guys probably in a future webinar. I think there's even one on my YouTube I did on recently on how to write sales copy. But like the 5 key things that will just literally turn businesses around. And they're so simple to do. But essentially, I'll be doing it for you guys in these snapshots anyway. And I was saying it to them earlier, Mike, kind of covered a briefer version of what you're sharing now, but that how we found it important that we didn't bring these out to you guys straight away, because we wanted you guys to understand how to use the software itself, because there's nothing worse than going into a or getting something that says, oh, this is a completely done for you package, and you jump in, but then say you get a client and you don't, how do you change something? How do you edit this here? If I want to change this workflow slightly, how do we do that? And that's why we've taught you how to use the system. But now that you've got a relatively good idea on how to use the system, and if you don't, you can watch the webinar replays. They're all on that link that I've sent out a bunch of times. But now with these snapshots, it just supercharges everything and minimizes the actual work. And this is where things get really fun.
Yeah, absolutely. And so this is going to be, one of the ways where, you guys are really going to be able to shine, is because, for one, you're going to get Luke to get, he's going to give you these snapshots, but then by having a lot of these snapshots already done, it's going to educate you guys on how you guys can also go and get your own snapshots. But this is like, I don't know, I'm just very impressed that, that Luke essentially, kind of picked up on this very quickly, because it's, and it just shows his experience in the game, is that it is, probably the most valuable thing that exists, is this ability to essentially scale this out, right? And so this is where, again, you're not in competition with high level at all. If you're reselling and you're doing it under your account where you're making 100%, they're going to go to you 10 times out of 10 if for the $297 they spend with you, they get $10,000 or $20,000 worth of value in this snapshot, right? And you have to kind of, again, wrap your head around the fact that this has not existed ever in history, where for one, you have 16 apps that are all under one hood, right? And now you have 16 apps that are under one hood that you have the ability to Xerox copy, right? And nobody knows this, right? No business that you're talking to, when you push all this to them, is going to know how easy it was for you, right? And that's the magic trick of it all, is that, and they don't need to know, right? Because again, it's all about value, right? We get out of that kind of dumb thing that we were taught since we were kids, that it's like, money is an exchange of time. Like, that's the biggest crock of what that they ever sold us, right? It's like, money is an exchange of value regardless of time, even if it's no time. And that's kind of, what this really is. And that's why, it's one of the big reasons why high level is so hot right now. Now imagine they're adding even more, right? So now this whole thing is now going to have, I'll even just put it here just so you can see, but we're going to have tons of AI features that just got released at the conference. So those are coming to be available immediately. So now you've got AI that plugs and plays in the same snapshot model, plus you have a whole full-blown e-com element that's in there as well, right? So now imagine that this whole Xerox copy model applies to an entire like Shopify style e-commerce store, as well as to like a whole handful of the best AI features that are on the market, right? So if it wasn't already good, now you can literally be like, oh, you want some of the best AI apps out there, and have it all done, configured with everything that you want, and all, with the proper copy and settings and everything done. Okay, we can make a Xerox copy of that as well. E-commerce, same thing, right? If they want to do, if your clients want to do any kind of e-commerce, then you can essentially press the copy button on that as well, and you can copy entire e-commerce stores with all of the setup, all of the configurations, everything the way it's supposed to be. Boom, press copy, and it's done, right? So now, what is this value? How high can this value go, right? Maybe 30,000 plus, right? And so if you had the ability to literally press a button and have $30,000 worth of value sent to a company with the press of a button, what is that worth, right? Because that's what having these snapshots really is, right? When you have a snapshot fully built out, you're talking about $10, $20, $30,000 worth of value in there, real value, not fake value, not hype value, like actual value, real built out funnels, really built out websites, really built out text and email campaigns and AI now and e-com and all of these things that for the first time in history, you can push a button and you can send those to your client, right? And they have no idea, nor do they care, nor are they ever probably going to know for the next many years before it maybe becomes more public knowledge, but they're sure as heck not going to know now, right? So it's like, this has opportunity written all over it, up, down, left, right, and center, right? And so this is where, you guys can step in, and the beauty here is not to get greedy, right? The beauty here is like, some people are going to think, oh man, I got $30,000 worth of value. Well, I can get on the phone with these people and maybe I can sell it for $5,000, right? Or 10 grand. You know what I'm thinking? How can I give this away for free, right? How can I take these snapshots and give this away for free for 30 days? Because again, we talked about this already, right? We talked about this on the previous calls. Is I come from a sales background, right? My dad was one of the founders of Hyatt Hotels. I worked for Hyatt for many years. I was trained in very high-end sales. We sold like the Andaz on Maui. We sold, basically like 3 months at a time, where people could buy 3 months quarter share. It's almost like a very, very, very fancy timeshare where like the minimum buy-in was, $5 million. And so we were trained in like very high-end sales. So when someone tells me to give out something for free, there is like a little part of my ego that used to kick in and be like, what? Give it away for free? Like, I'm trained in this stuff. Like, I know how to sell. Like, I know what to do. I know what to say. Like, I'm decent with words and whatnot. But again, when you do the numbers, you realize that by giving it away for free, right, you can make 10x the amount of sales, which aren't really sales, right? We're just going to say customers, because when you're giving it away for free, you don't even have to make the sales, right? You're like Santa Claus. You're like, here, take it, try it. It's free for 30 days, right? So if I can do that versus selling it, and I have, let's just say conservatively, let's just say I have 10K worth of value, right? And I think you can easily have 30K worth of value, but let's just say conservatively it's 10K, worth of value. You think it's going to be hard for me to go to customers and be like, hey, I'm going to include $10,000 worth of website, worth of funnels, worth of text, worth of email, worth of all the possible things that can come into a snapshot, plus all the new stuff that's coming, AI, multiple AI tools, a full-blown e-commerce suite that rivals Shopify, all of that built in, where you can literally just press the big green copy button here, make a big green copy button. I actually used to have a copy machine when I was a kid. I was like one of the only kids that had a copy machine. I thought it was like the coolest thing. Funny enough, we actually had these. I was a little bit of a bad kid. I think I was in like first grade. I was like 6, and we had these. They called them B-bucks, but they were like these these dollars that you got if you were good. And I was really good in school. I would like answer all the questions, but they never really gave out these dollars. They were kind of like stingy. And so my whole goal was to was to collect enough dollars that I could get like a pizza party by the end of the thing. And anyway, I didn't have enough for the pizza party, and so I used the copy machine and I copied the money, because no one really had copy machines back then. This was like 1991, 1992. And so anyway, so I like copied this money, and I ended up getting the pizza off the copied money. And then I got caught like 2 days later, because my mom found like the clippings of these of the money that we made for the fake school money in the trash can. And so I had to like go to the teacher and apologize. It was like embarrassing, but then also like my parents were kind of proud that I was like so whatever you would say.
So smart. It's smart in a roundabout way. Like super quickly, it reminds me of like I remember like I did horrible in school. I was like in the worst, like the lowest 5%, and then somehow last year I won the alumni award. And my school is like a big prestigious school here in Australia, and I won the alumni award. So I got to go back and speak to all the kids all year, and it was a lot of fun. But I remember in grade 12, it was when vitamin water, 50 cents vitamin water company came out, and I scanned, I hadn't studied for this test, so I scanned the actual bottle label, and then it has all the tiny text with ingredients and stuff on it. But then I took the text out in Photoshop, and then no one even knew that there was photo editors out there. And I went to Kmart, printed it out on this proper like laminate paper, and wrapped it back around a vitamin water bottle, so I could have it on my desk, and it had like all the answers to whatever it was. Apparently that caught on, and now in exams in Australia, you can only use clear water bottles now. So I apologize in some ways for anyone that I've messed that up for. But, I just think I was so silly. But now looking back, it was just creativity. They're smart in different ways. And I definitely wasn't book smart, but when I found something that I loved, or I could get pretty creative with things. But yeah, I'll let you continue.
Yeah, I mean, and that's the thing. I mean, I even saw a debate and look, our world is built this way, right? There was a debate that I saw. You could probably find it if you Googled it, but they were arguing that the corporate taxes in the U.S. were the highest of anywhere in the world. And so it was basically this debate between two politicians, and I'll never forget it, because the one politician said, we need to, lower corporate taxes, basically, because the corporate tax in the US is the highest of any country in the world. They're number one, right? And then the opposing politician said, you're right, I agree with you, but the US also has more loopholes than any country in the world. And if you were to exercise those loopholes, they effectively have the lowest tax of any country in the world. and the other politician couldn't say anything. Like it was literally like checkmate, game, set, match. Like that was it. And so like our world is built that way. Like you know, we're not taught that, but you know that's how it is. It's this, you know, it's a bit of a game where, you know, we've got these obstacles in our way, you know, like in this example, like the US having the highest tax rate, but if you know the loopholes, you can essentially, the US can have the lowest tax rate, right? It's not like it goes down by like 2% or 5%. It's like, no, they go from being the worst in the world to, if you exercise these legal loopholes, they actually drop down to be the lowest in the entire world, right? And so, you know, we want to think like that. I mean, again, we want to be, you know, we want to come from a place of honor and integrity, and I'm a huge believer in that. I mean, I'm a huge believer in integrity, huge believer in karma, huge believer in, you know, just faith and you know, spirituality in general. Um, but yeah, I used to say it in talks all the time. I would even be like, hey, like, even if you're selfish, like even if you just don't care about anybody but yourself, you should just even do good, because you should believe in the principle in the world of reciprocity, where what you do, like if you do good in the world, like it will come back to you, right? So even if you're just a selfish, you know, POS, you know, still do the right thing, because ultimately you're going to reap the rewards, because that's just like how the universe works, right? And so, you know, so I'm not saying like cheat the system in any way, but I am saying like this is how the system is designed, is for smart people, right? If you were to have done exactly what you were told in school, like you would not be in a good situation. Like it's just, you know, we're not told the right route. And so luckily, you know, things have evolved, you know, like my dad as an example, like he dropped out of 5th grade, 6th grade, and he went on to be one of the original founders of Hyatt Hotels. And Hyatt Hotels, you know, at one point was the largest privately owned hotel chain in the entire country, or in the world, actually. But you know, he dropped out of 5th grade, dropped out of 6th grade. I mean, it was, you know, at that point it was necessity for him to do that. But you know, that, you know, if he would have stayed in school, would he have ever been as successful as he was? Guaranteed not, you know. So it's like the misfits are kind of rewarded, right? I think even Steve Jobs said that, right? As Steve Jobs was a misfit and built the biggest company in the world, you know, Apple. So anyway, kind of digressing back to where we are here, you know, what I'm saying here is with snapshots and what Luke is doing right here, by giving you these, is going to give you an unfair advantage. And what I'm not telling you to do is to go and basically take this value and be like, ooh, I got, you know, $10,000 worth of value. All I got to do is press this big green copy button. I should be selling this thing for $1,000. No, you should be giving this away for free for 30 days as much as you possibly can. Because if you do that, imagine you show up at a business and you have these snapshots that have funnels built out, that have text sequences built out, email sequences built out. And you're saying, look, try it for free for 30 days. And at the end of 30 days, you'll just pay the same fee that you would pay with high level, which is $22.97 a month, right? You're going to sign up 10x more customers by doing that every single month. So that turns into 10x month one. But by a year, you're talking about 100x plus the amount of business that you would have if you sold it, right? And so this is the power of, you know, like Gary Vee says, jab, 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 right hook, which is like give, and then ask for the sale. What we want to do is even more like the Alex Hormozi model, which is, you know, jab, 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 jab until infinity, until they ask you, right? So it's like give until they ask you to purchase. And so, so this is kind of the mindset that we want to get you guys in, is understanding that this is so unique, right? This is not something that has existed ever before. People haven't caught on to this. This is like the tip of the wave when it comes to, you know, this style of doing business. And so essentially, you know, what I'm going to train you guys more on over the coming weeks is how to get in front of these businesses so that you can offer them this for free, right? Because once you get your foot in the door, there's a whole host of you know, essentially of opportunities that you can sell. And so I want to show you this this presentation here. I'm going to cue it up but it's just going to kind of walk you through. I originally gave it for Atlas, but I want to kind of use it as an illustration for just for kind of paid ads in general here. And so let me go ahead and bring this up.
And while he does that, I'm sure everyone put a 1 in the box if you've watched the past webinars on both vanity likes on TikTok, and then we touched on some lead gen ads in TikTok as well, which again applies to Instagram and Facebook. This is about getting clients to come to you. Put another 2 in the box if you haven't watched those trainings. If you haven't, afterwards, I really recommend doing it. You can go to the replay page, and I've also put in chapters. So in the little search bar where you click play and you can skip through the video, it'll say intro, in looking at how to create a sub account inside of Go High Level, and then it'll get to Mike's portion where it'll say TikTok ads manager, how to create, look at the TikTok ads library, and same for Facebook ads library. It's all in the chapters there for you to see as well. Cool, but looks like most people have seen it, but don't worry if you haven't, just make sure you do, because it's really, really, really valuable. And again, it's a lot more fun, in my opinion, having clients come to you and having Go High Level do the sales process essentially for you, versus having to go out or reaching out to local businesses, which is also fine to do as well. It's just a little bit more time consuming, but on the flip side, it's free. But then again, on the flip side, TikTok ads cost next to nothing for qualified leads. So yeah, I'll let you continue, Mark.
All right, yeah, let me, I'm just opening this PDF real quick, and let me share my screen. All right, so I'm gonna switch my screen sharing over here. But anyway, just to kind of wrap up on this screen, you know, again, the snapshots are one of those things that is going to be game changer. I mean, truly game changer. You know, because again, you only have to build it once, right? When you build these snapshots, and again, Luke's going to be doing a lot of that heavy lifting for you, where you're already going to have this original, we call it like the master template, right? Or it's like the master DNA of, you know, what you're going to be able to share with your clients, right? And I saw it at the event. You know, there's a company, Extendly, and I mean, these guys must have sold, sheesh, hundreds of thousands of dollars, and their lead in was, hey, we have these snapshots that we're going to give you that are worth like, you know, 6 to 10 grand on their own, but you know, if you sign up, you get them. And that's like their hook, right? That's your guys' hook too, right? That's your guys' hook talking to any of the clients, right? So we're going to go through in next week, we're going to dive deep into the exact strategies I use to get in front of whatever my target audience is, whether that's doctors, whether that's lawyers, whether that's roofers, whatever that is. But that's really going to be your lead in, is that you're going to have all of this stuff done for them. And if they want this big bag of value, all they got to do is sign up for a free trial, right? Which sounds kind of crazy at first, because you're like, damn, I got all this value, $10, $20, $30,000. I could potentially sell it for, you know, $1,000, $2,000, and they're going to be really happy because they're going to be getting, you know, $10, $20, $30,000 worth of stuff for, you know, 1 or 2 grand. You know, that's awesome. Like they're not going to be mad at that at all. But the difference is like I said, when you understand delayed gratification, and when you understand the numbers here that you're looking at on the screen, and that you can bring on 10 times more customers by giving it away, after a year, it turns into 100x the revenue, right? It's 100x real numbers, right? So what are those numbers, right? It could be the difference between, at the end of a year, you're making, you know, $80,000, or you're making $8 million, right? You're making $50,000, or you're making $5 million. Like that's 100x difference. And so that's why, even if you're a great salesperson, even if you're like I used to be and had a little bit of an ego around it, and like I'm, you know, God's gift to sales, and why in the heck would I give this thing away when I can, you know, use these skills I've been trained with? Understand that it's, you know, it's the logical thing to do to give it away once you wrap your head around the numbers. Okay, so wrapping up on that, let's get into a little bit of my talk on paid traffic, and I just wanted to kind of give you guys a recap. Now, I originally did this for Atlas, but it applies to everything. Agency is kind of like my bread and butter, is what I've made by far, the most consistent long-term money doing. And so I'm going to walk you guys through it a little bit here. So a little bit of this will be a recap for those of you that have seen kind of my paid traffic training. We talked about it a little bit, but we'll kind of go through it here. So why paid traffic? So paid traffic is the #1 way to skip the line. There is nobody in this industry that I really know of, unless you're like a YouTube star or you're an A-list celebrity that just has like crazy influence, that's able to go from 0 to 1 million without paid ads. Like, paid ads is what takes you from being unknown to known, right? And so we want to master this. Now, paid ads can come in different forms, and we're going to talk about some of the ways we can kind of like get a cheat code in the system a little bit. I'm going to talk to you guys about cold email. I'm going to talk to you guys about some really cool ways that I've been able to just consistently bring in money for my agency. But one of the most well-known ways that still just is probably one of the best ways ever is learning to master things like TikTok and Facebook ads, right? Which is also Instagram. So results are immediate and scalable, which is the benefit, right? Is that we can put $1 in, and if we get $3 out, well, guess what? We can put $10 out, and now we get $30 out. And now we're like, oh wow, now we put 100 in, and we're getting 300 out. We put 1,000 in, we get 3,000 out, and next thing you know, we're putting in, like what I was doing, $20,000 a day and getting 60,000 out, right? And netting 20 after product cost, right? So it's this immediate return, and you can start as low as $5 a day on Facebook and as low as $20 a day on TikTok, very, very reasonable, and start to test. And you can have this immediate scalable thing right there in front of you. Now, there's 3 buckets with paid advertising. So the thing I want to kind of like demystify a little bit about paid advertising is that you don't need to know all of the terms and acronyms and all this crazy stuff, right? You're going to hear people talking about CPAs and CTAs and, CPR and HBO and CBS and, TNT and, all these acronyms. And while it's good to know, the cost per clicks and the cost per sale and the, cost per action and, all of these things, the main thing that you really need to know is really this metric right here. What is your product cost? What is your ad spend? And ultimately, what is your profit? So when I got into, print on demand, and I'll show you some of my results in the e-commerce world, but I had people coming up to me in my, now granted, my first month, I was #1 in the entire print on demand industry. I later found out, because Walker Williams, who was the CEO of Teespring at the time, which was like the only real print on demand platform at the time, they were kind of the innovator. They were a Y Combinator company, for those of you that are familiar. So they were from the same fraternity that birthed, Stripe and Reddit and Airbnb. So that, they came out of, kind of the Silicon Valley pedigree of Y Combinator. But they were the first on the scene, right? And so my very first month on there, I was #1 in the entire industry. And I talked to Walker later, who was the CEO, and he was like, bro, you were like hundreds of thousands, like I think it was like $400,000 or $500,000 a month ahead of second place, right? We were doing like 1.3 million a month, and second place was at like, let's say 700,000, right? And so that being said, when I was going through that, I didn't know, right? Because I had people come up to me, they're like, Mike, what's your CPA and your CPM and your CPC? Are you optimizing for your CPAs? And I'm just like, what are you guys talking about? Like, I don't even, I'd like pretend I even knew what they're talking about. I'm like, oh yeah, I think we're doing good on CPAs, and CPCs are going good, yeah. And in reality, I didn't even know what the damn acronym stood for, right? And so I was thinking to myself, like, oh my gosh, clearly I must be getting killed out there in the marketplace, because if I don't even know what these acronyms stand for, I'm definitely not winning, right? There must be people that are just like crushing my numbers right now, right? And then, you know, fast forward to months later when I got the phone call from Walker and he's like, bro, you're like lapping second place, right? And so it's just a testament that you don't need to be all that technical. These are the numbers I knew, right? I didn't know any of that stuff, but I knew what my product cost, I knew what my ad spend was, and I knew what my profit were. And these are your core numbers, right? These are your core markers that you're going to need to know, right? It doesn't hurt to know the other things, right? It doesn't hurt to know, you know, what your cost per action or your cost per click or your CPM, which is your cost per mil, which stands for, you know, cost per 1,000 impressions. I used to think CPM was cost per million impressions, but it's like a weird word. It's like cost per milli, which means cost per 1,000 impressions. But I didn't know what any of this stuff meant. And so anyway, just to kind of illustrate for you guys that I want to break it down to simplicity, because ultimately we're going to dive a lot deeper into you guys, you know, running ads and, you know, doing some of these different like kind of cheat code strategies to get people buying from you. And ultimately, these are the core numbers that you need to know. Now, there's one time and there's residual, and this is kind of what I was talking about, but I want to kind of illustrate it further, right? Because, you know, once you go to the residual side, you never go back, right? It's just, even if the numbers are lower on the residual side, when you start getting residual payments, it is just the biggest game changer for your life, because it truly creates time freedom. You're actually building something that is like truly sustainable, right? And let me give you an example of that. So when I was selling hoodies, I was mostly doing hoodies. So when I was doing t-shirts, I started in like November, December, and actually, yeah, it was December, and so it was cold, and so there was more profit in hoodies, and so I really sold more hoodies than anything. But this was like my basic model. So the hoodie cost was, or the hoodie that the price I was selling the hoodies for was $39. My product cost was about 13 bucks. My ad spend was about 13 bucks per sale. And then my profit was about 13 bucks, right? So it was about a third. Now this is early on. These numbers it's harder to hit these numbers these days. But this kind of gives you an example of what I was doing. And so my first month, these are like my approximate numbers. I did about 34 to 35,000 hoodies, which brought in about 1.35 million, meaning my product cost was about 450,000. My ad spend, which luckily I had a partner with like an unlimited credit spend at the time, was 450,000, and then my profit was 450,000. Now, the thing that's interesting about this, and we'll talk about this, because when you look at these numbers, it's a little bit deceiving, because you're like, wait a second, if I look at that right, I got to spend 900,000 to make 450,000. Now it's not a bad deal, because ultimately I'm making $450,000 in a month. That sounds great, but where the hell am I going to find this $900,000 for the product cost and the ad spend, right? So this is where you kind of get a little bit of a shift in a paradigm, because I didn't go into this having like, you know, 450,000 just sitting around for ad spend, right? But what you realize in this, and especially when you're dealing with something digital, is that for us, like with hoodies as an example, we didn't pay the product cost, right? So with print on demand, they took the product cost out of the money that you paid, right? So so you didn't have to pay that, right? So you actually kind of got to essentially have them cover it and pay the difference. So the product cost wasn't really there, right? Same thing with digital products, is there's no product cost, right? So when you're selling high level and these different things, it's like you're giving all this value, but you eliminate the product cost. The product cost is basically zero, so that goes away. Now what you have left is ad spend. Well, ad spend is unique, because ad spend you can put on a credit card or even a debit card, and especially if it's on like a credit card, for example, you're not paying that for 30 days. Well, now it's all about cash flow, right? So now if your money that you're buying is cycling back, or the money that you're bringing in is cycling back to your account faster than you owe that bill, then that basically becomes free too, right? And so an example of that is like if I make a sale on my Stripe, I mean, I've done so much sales on my Stripe that I have like, you know, I get like $10,000 instantly. But even if you have like a brand new Stripe, you're going to get the money. You know, if you have a Stripe up for like a week, you're going to start getting paid within like 3 days, right? So your cycle of money is 3 days. Your credit card cycle is 30 days, right? So you're getting the money if you're selling something off of an ad and you're selling it through your Stripe or your PayPal or whatever you're using for your checkout, and it's going back into your account. You have a 3-day cycle there with you getting the money into your account, but you don't have to pay the ad spend on your credit card for 30 days, right? Or even if you're, let's say, even if you don't have a credit card and you're using a debit card, you're getting your money back in 3 days, right? And you're getting the profit on top of that. And so what ended up happening for us and I'll show you guys this on a later slide, but we had a longer cycle, a much longer cycle. It was like a 2-week cycle to get paid with Teespring at the time. You guys don't have that problem. You guys are going to, anything you guys sell, you're going to basically have your money within like 3 days, right? But in the early Teespring days, it was like a 2-week turnaround. Even with that 2-week turnaround, even with that, within about 2.5 to 3 weeks, we were operating purely off of a company debit card, right? So I made a mistake. I brought in partners at the time that had like unlimited credit because I'm like, oh, I can scale this up. So I need partners with credit. So I brought on a partner who at one time ran the most successful hedge fund in the country. And he had a American Express Black Centurion card, which was unlimited. And we had 3 other cards that were more or less unlimited, several $100,000 in credit on each one of them. And then a black card that was actually unlimited. And we didn't even need it. That was the crazy thing, is like I brought these guys on, gave them a big percentage of my company to you know, to be my partners. And then ultimately within like a couple, you know, 2.5 weeks, we're operating off of a company debit card. And we didn't even use the credit cards from that moment forward because we were cycling the cash, right? So just to illustrate this for you guys is like, this is kind of where the magic happens. When you originally look at these numbers, it's deceiving because you're like, oh my God, I got to go get $900,000 to make 450. But it's not like that, especially with digital and even with print on demand. You're not paying the product cost up front, and your ad spend is you're not paying that for 30 days on a credit card cycle, but yet you're making the money back in 3 days, right? So now you essentially have this way of just printing money, right? And so when you really kind of wrap your head around that concept and how powerful that is, you're like, oh, okay, like I get it, right? And so within weeks, I was spending $20,000 a day on a debit card. Like it wasn't even on the credit card, right? I'm spending 20 grand a day on the debit card, but the money is cycling back so fast that I'm making it. I'm basically, for every 20,000 I'm spending on ad spend, I'm making 20,000 in pure profit, right? And so I'm doing that every single day. And so it seemed crazy at the time to even think that that was possible, but when you understand how the flow of money works, it starts to make a lot more sense, okay? So let's talk about a residual example here. Now, this could be, you know, as something as simple as a subscription that's $20. This could be a newsletter. This could be your entry level product. This could be something, you know, the lowest of the low ticket, right? We'll call it 20 bucks, right? So on a subscription, that's 20 bucks. Now looking back at this one, let's just make sure that you got this. So on the hoodies, I was doing 13, 13, and 13, right? So it was, this is like my real numbers, and I'll show you guys on another screen. But you know, 39, I was selling the hoodie for $13 product cost, $13 ad spend, $13 profit. This is about what I sold, right? So month 1 made $450,000 in profit. So now let's say on this example, I'm selling something for 20 bucks. So I'm selling something cheaper. And in this case, let's say it's a newsletter or some sort of entry level product, right? My product cost on something digital is 0, right? But let's say my ad spend goes up. So it's not $13 like I was spending on my hoodies, it's 20 bucks. So my net profit month 1 is 0, right? So, and you see this, right? You see this a lot with front end offers, right? And you can do this all day long. I mean, you'll see it. I mean, the #1 affiliate in all of ClickFunnels does this, and he has a $37 offer, and he basically just wants to break even. Okay, it's his goal. This person, by the way, is doing about $1.3 million a month in just residual drip from ClickFunnels, right? But so at first glance, this doesn't look like nearly as appealing as what I was doing with t-shirts. You're like, wait a second, I'm selling something for less. It's instead of getting 39 bucks, it's 20 bucks. My ad spend just went up to 20 bucks. So now I'm making no damn money. Like this looks stupid, right? Until we dive into it a little bit further. Because that's only month one, right? If let's say your average retention of somebody on that program is 6 months, well, now even at paying a higher cost to bring somebody on, instead of paying 13 for a conversion, you're paying 20 for a conversion, so you're paying almost double. If you have a 6-month run, which is like, if you have a good product, you should be able to keep somebody on for about 6 months. If you have a great product, you can keep them on for 12, 24, 36 months. But if it's just like pretty good, 6 months is like solid. I mean, you should, even if you're pretty good, you should be able to keep somebody on for 6 months, which you can see that quickly adds up, right? Month 2, it becomes 20, month 3, 40, and then we go to month 6 and we've made $100 off of that same client, right? It's as opposed to on the hoodie, we only made 13 bucks, right? Over here, we made $100, right? Like 8 times more. But that is just for one product, right? Because that's the entry level. That's not including the lifetime value of that person, right? So let's do some math and let's introduce you guys to the value ladder. Now, I just whipped this up for you guys just like as an example, but these are actually like real numbers that I use, within my own business. But like, let's say you have a $20 entry newsletter, right? That's educating somebody, or a mini course, or some sort of, maybe you do a weekly call training people on how to, essentially use these softwares, right? You can have all these different things be an entry level, but then you have all of these upsells, right? You have Facebook advertising, which you can charge $1,500 a month, SEO, $2,000 a month, high level, $297 a month you're giving out on $30. Maybe you have courses that you're offering your niche. Maybe you have other software that you're turning them onto, right? All of these start to add to ultimately whatever your lifetime value is, right? And so this is kind of your quiver or your set of items that you can offer, right? So how much is each member worth? This is what determines the lifetime value, right? So let's say that the average lifetime value in your agency is $500, right? That's a big, giant difference than our example over here with hoodies, right? Because hoodies, it's like we got to do it one time, we're making 13 bucks, right? If we bring on a client and do it the right way with a value ladder, now all of a sudden, maybe it's closer to $500 per one, right? So it's like, now how much can we spend on ads, right? So how much should we be spending to bring in a customer? Now, some people might say anything less than $500. And I would say the answer to that is yes and no, but mostly no. And here's why. It's all about cash flow, right? We want to create a self-funding offer, okay? And you guys really need to, if you can wrap your brain around this concept, you will make thousands upon thousands, if not millions of dollars from this. And I know Luke knows this concept extraordinarily well. But a self-funding offer is a front-end offer that covers ad spend and your product costs, which in your case, product cost is basically zero. So it's really just a front-end offer that can cover your ad spend. If you can cover your ad spend on the front end, then everything else is gravy, right? Everything else is icing and sprinkles on the cake. And so that's what you really have to think about is I literally just want to break even on my ads. That is what I want. I don't want to make any money. And in fact, you don't want to make any money really, because if you're making money, you're probably hurting your conversions. If you're profitable on your front end ads, you probably should make the offer cheaper so that you can break even and ultimately make more on the back end, right? The more you can push delayed gratification, you start to make exponentially more money, right? And that's what you want to think about, is like, what can I do on the front end offer to break even? Your absolute goal should be to break even, because you know that if you can get them in and just break even, that's what brings people into this whole model of now being able to upsell, 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 because you over delivered on the front end offer. Okay, so I'm going to quickly cover this, and then I'm going to let you guys go, because I know we've been rocking for a couple hours now. But I want to give you guys what I consider to be the 4 secrets of paid traffic. Okay, so secret number 1, and again, some of this might seem simple, but it really is the secrets. It's, you know, it doesn't have to be complicated. Just like when I got started, and people were talking to me about CPAs and CPCs and CPLs and all the weird stuff, like, those guys didn't make nearly as much money as I did, right? And so it comes down to these kind of simple secret core principles. And secret number 1 is you have to have a great offer. Now, what is an offer? An offer is the connection between product and the money. Okay, so sometimes people think offer is a product. A product and an offer are not synonymous. You have to introduce money into the equation for it to be an offer. What I mean by that is, if I had a brand new 2023 red Ferrari convertible straight off the lot, right? And I said, hey, I'm going to give it to you for a low price of $5 million. Is that a great offer? Well, I guess it depends on what kind of Ferrari it is, but probably not. None of you are probably jumping out of your seats to be like, oh yeah, let me get the brand new Ferrari for $5 million, right? Because I don't think Ferrari should cost that much, right? But if I say I've got a brand new, shiny, red Ferrari convertible, 2023, fresh off the lot, and you can have it for $100, that sounds like a pretty great offer. Might take 10 of them, might take 100, might take as many as I can possibly buy, right? So that, you have to understand that when I say a great offer, yes, it is a great product, but you have to remember, this is key. This is a key thing for you guys to remember, that a product is also the connection to money, right? So it has to be a great product that is also paired with a great price, okay? So that is secret number 1, is you have to have a great offer. Secret number 2 is that you have to have laser focused targeting. Put your offer in front of the right audience and you will win, okay? If you have a great offer and you put it in front of the buyers, you will absolutely win, okay? You have to be omnipresent. Now, we're going to talk about this more in later weeks, but the power of retargeting can't be understated, right? And we can even look at this if we go to, let's go to Washington Post. Let's go to New York Times. Let's go to Huffington Post. Let's even go, we'll do TMZ. Okay. So let's look at this. This ad right here that is sitting here right at the top, and all the ad space on here. Let's look at this ad right here. Something's gonna pop up. I'm gonna refresh because it's blank, but we can see this little play button. Do you guys know what this little play button is? This is Google Ads. Okay. I'm gonna refresh this though, just so you guys can see here, because we absolutely have to be omnipresent when we talk about late. So we want to put ourselves in front of the right target, and then we want to always be in front of them, right? But this is one of the best magic tricks on the internet, right? This is Google display retargeting at its finest, right? If you go and you land on my page, and now the first place you're probably going to see me is where everybody spends their time, right? Where does everybody spend their time? Scrolling. I'll say it again. Where does everybody spend their time? Scrolling, right? Scrolling Facebook, scrolling Instagram, scrolling YouTube. Scrolling is where usually people will initially see your ad. But the power of retargeting, particularly with Google, in my opinion, is the best magic trick on the entire internet. Because if you land on my ad from scrolling, which is where you're probably first going to see me, either on Facebook or Instagram or TikTok or YouTube, I'm going to pixel you, but I'm going to pixel you on Google. So that now you're going to go to Washington Post, and guess what? This is a Google ad, but 99% of people don't even know that this is Google, right? They think that I did it. You're going to see my ad right here because I'm going to retarget you on Google, and they're going to be like, damn, Mike did a deal with the Washington Post too? This guy's credible. And then they're going to come over here to Huffington Post, and they're going to scroll, and guess what? They're going to see, my computer's taking a second to load here. But they're going to see an ad right here too. And guess what? When you see these ads, look at this little play button. That's Google too. But does anybody think that this is Google? No. Now they think that I did a deal not only with Washington Post, but also with the Huffington Post, right? They're going to see my face right there because you can see, again, Google Play Bar, that's Google. But again, 99% of people don't know this, right? Then they're going to come over to TMZ. They're going to see my ad again on TMZ. And they're going to be like, what the heck? Mike did a deal with Washington Post and Huffington Post and TMZ. This guy did a deal with the whole damn internet, right? But they don't know that, again, it's the best magic trick on the internet, which is that these are all Google AdSense partners, right? So if you can catch somebody scrolling and you can get them to click on your stuff while they're scrolling, which is what everybody's doing right now. Oh, there's high level. They're listening to me. They hear me, right? This stuff works, man. It's targeted. But you're going to see me scrolling, or I'm going to see you scrolling on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube. And as soon as you click on my thing, guess what? I'm following you around the whole internet. And you're going to think I cut a deal with Mr. Internet when really it's just Google, right? But you're going to see me on TMZ. You're going to see me on Huffington Post. You're going to see me on Washington Post. You're going to see me everywhere you go, right? And so this is, again, one of my favorite secrets on the whole internet. All right. Targeting. Be omnipresent. Be laser focused. It's the secret. All right, let's see. We'll go back. I know you guys have got to wrap up. We can't hang out all day, but we'll zoom through this real quick. Luke, I don't know if you have anything you want to share on that.
Yeah. No, what I thought I'd just say as well is I know at the start of this webinar I said I'd give you guys that snapshot link, and I've got that already for you guys. So after, whenever Mike finishes, I'll give you guys that. Also later, I think I've got it set for Friday, where I'm just going to do a little bonus training. Like it's like I've been doing them each week. I haven't really been emailing out about them since the first week one. It's more so just to then for anyone that's complete beginners. I'm doing it at a flip time zone, so it might not work for everyone here, time zone wise. But I've essentially done that for anyone that's in the getting started stages or having problems or specific questions where we don't have like a main training focus point. Like I usually have one or two key things I always want to go over, but in saying that, it's a time that I just want to spend with you guys for any actual additions that you need.
All right, so let me I'll finish with this here. We'll kind of move up to where we were at here, but all right, so 4 secrets. Number 1, offer. Number 2, laser focused targeting. You must be omnipresent. Secret 3 is going to be immaculate creative. Okay, this a buddy of mine named Nira Y'all, he wrote a book called Hooked. It was a bestseller. He had a very successful exit in Silicon Valley, and then kind of took some time off, had an 8-figure exit, and then wrote a book. But in the book, he talks about a lot about variable reward and how every company in Silicon Valley builds, you know, especially social media, builds based off of variable reward, meaning that it follows the same psychology as a slot machine. When you see people that are pulling the slot machine endlessly, there's a psychology that's keeping people there for hours. And that psychology is that there's a reward coming, but they don't know when the reward is going to come, and they don't know how great the reward will be, right? Sounds familiar to social media. And when you think about the news feed, when you're scrolling through a news feed, it's the same exact concept, right? You're scrolling and you're like, oh, that's all right. Oh, that kind of sucks. Oh, that's cool. Oh, that's whatever. That's whatever. Oh, that's whatever. Oh, that's cool. That is the same exact concept of a slot machine. When you're endlessly doing the finger or the thumb scroll on TikTok or Facebook or Instagram, these guys purposefully did that exact same psychology. They know what they're doing, right? There's a reason these apps are the biggest in the world, is because they base it off of this very powerful psychological concept called variable reward, meaning when you're scrolling, you don't know when you're going to find something that you like, and you don't know how cool it's going to be. And so that is what keeps you endlessly scrolling, okay? It's the exact same concept of a slot machine. And so you have to have your creative be the 777. So if you're not a great designer, you have to have an eye for design. And if you don't have an eye for design, you have to have somebody on your team that has an eye for design, because it makes a huge difference. I had an emoji app that went to #1 in the whole app store. And literally it was the difference between me rearranging the emojis. It was basically emojis exploding out of a phone. And I had 2 different ads I split tested. One had them exploding just randomly, and the other one had it exploding in a very like organized, almost like a sacred geometry pattern. And the one that had it exploding in a nice symmetrical pattern was the difference between a 70-cent download, 70 cents, and a 5-cent download, right? And so that's the difference that putting the extra, you have to be able to put 1 or 2 or 3 extra coats of polish on, because it will literally not be a 20% difference or a 50% difference, but it will ultimately be like 1,000% difference, right? And so secret number 3 is you have to know this concept, right? We are in an age where you can press a button from your living room and you can literally reach the masses, and you can become a millionaire in 30 days. Like, I am actually living proof of that. And it's like, I actually did it from a course online, like crazy stuff, man. But it's like, with great power comes great responsibility, and with great power also comes great challenges, right? And so the challenge is that because you're able to reach the whole world at the push of a button, you also have the whole world in competition with you doing the same thing, right? And so knowing that, you have to know that if you put that extra 1 or 2 or 3 coats of polish on, that's what's going to trigger that 777 in somebody's brain, right? You can't be mediocre, because someone will pass over you. So if you focus on the design, and it's the hardest thing to teach, but you have to know that it's this way, is again by me just adjusting the format of how I didn't change the headline, I didn't change the text. And by the way, so you guys know, the #1 and #2 thing that impacts ads is the imagery, so the photo or the video, and the headline. Those are the #1 and #2 things. And people would argue which one's #1 and #2, but you know, it's definitely the image or the video and the headline, right? In this particular example, I didn't change the text, I didn't change the headline, I didn't change anything except the image. I made the emoji explosion more organized, literally made it more symmetrical. And it was the difference between a 70-cent download and a nickel download, okay? So you have to understand that the extra 1 or 2 or 3 coats of polish is what is going to make the difference. And the last secret, number 4, is that nurturing is everything. And this is where high level comes into play big time, right? Is that communication builds trust, right? High level is a Swiss Army knife of communication channels, right? Text, email, Facebook Messenger, Instagram Messenger, live chat on the website, Even reviews is a form of communication. Your CRM system is a form of communication, right? So it's literally taking all these communication channels, which would normally be 15 different logins and 15 different passwords, and it's making it so it's one login, one password, and so you can actually hit all these communication channels, right? Communication builds trust, and a famous quote from Steve Jobs is, a brand is equal to trust, right? Steve Jobs gave a speech and he said, you know, a lot of people spend too much time thinking about their brand's logo and, you know, what it's going to look like and this about the brand, when what they should be realizing is that people equate a brand to trust. I'm a big fan, and I love making nice logos. I love making brands look beautiful, but ultimately what a brand truly is anchoring to trust, right? And what is trust? Trust is communication, right? Communication is trust, and a brand is equal to trust. Steve Jobs. So I'll talk a little bit about results, kind of show you guys some stuff, but these are some of the things that we've done with e-commerce, and again, the power of paid ads. But these are just some of the different results that we've been able to do. And again, just to really push home that paid ads is kind of what it is. You know, this is $10,000 in a day on paid ads. This is $17,000 in a day. This is that same day. You can see the day here, $17,000 on July 3rd, but this was $116,000 in 2 weeks, $106,000 a month. This is $1 million a year. This one is actually near and dear to my heart. So I own a gym in Maui that was about to close. It's like, I mean, obviously you guys have seen Maui on the news. Luke is actually a huge fan of Hawaii. He came out and visited me on Maui years ago, and also donated like a lot of money to a school out in Hawaii too. So he was always just a big fan of not only visiting Hawaii, but he actually like supported the community a big way financially. And he didn't have to. I mean, just literally out of the goodness of his heart, he was donating large amounts of money to the schools out there. And this to me this is like the biggest community meeting spot on all of Maui. So we're like the biggest gym on Maui now. We have right now, you can see here on the screen, it's 685 members. Now we're right around 1,000 members. But right here, before this happened here, you can see here this month right here added 206 subscriptions. The month before added 78. So this gym was about to close, okay? None of these guys are marketers, and this is to show you guys the power of marketing for local businesses. Okay, when you're going to these people and you're like, hey, I'm going to charge you, a couple grand a month, and you're like, oh man, is that too much? Like, understand, gyms are not even high profit businesses. I don't even really recommend people working with gyms, right? But if it works for a gym, imagine what it would do for a personal injury lawyer. Imagine what it would do for a chiropractor or a plastic surgeon or a med spa or a roofing company. Like, gyms are inherently like the least profitable business, right? So this is a gym I now own equity in. Actually, from this marketing campaign is how I got the equity. But I didn't get into it because I wanted to get equity. I got into this because I wanted to save the gym. Like, it's the biggest community meeting spot in all of Maui. It's a 1,000-member gym, which if you guys know Maui's not very big. So if you have a 1,000-member gym, you're keeping a lot of people happy. I mean, this is like where a lot of people come together and, stay healthy and meet. And it's like a very happy place. We've just expanded now. We're about 12,000 square feet. So it's a pretty big size facility, but it was about to close. We were in the red, losing money, right? I use these exact strategies that I'm showing you guys by doing client reactivation with old lists and running paid ads, all of it running through high level, right? And we had a goal when I did this for the company. We basically had 3 goals. We had an initial goal, we had a stretch goal, and then we had a super stretch goal. Okay. The main goal, and just so I'll just be fully transparent with you guys. The first goal, I got paid $10,000. The second goal, I got paid another $10,000. And then the last goal, I got a double-digit percentage of equity in the company. Okay, so I got 10,000, 10,000, and a double-digit percentage equity. And the tiers were 100 members, 100 new members, 150 new members, and then 200 members for the year. For the year, okay? So the regular goal was 100 new members for the year. Stretch goal was 150 members for the year. And then the super stretch goal was 200 members for the entire year. Now look at this. We did over 200 members in 1 month. In 2 months, we did over 280 members. We basically blew our super stretch goal for the entire year out of the water in 2 months, okay? And we did this using the exact strategies that I'm showing you guys, using paid ads and using client reactivations inside of high level, okay? So I was able to do this and make $20,000 in 2 months and own a double-digit percentage in a gym that's worth over $1 million. Okay. So my overall benefit in this was, in the 6 figures in basically 2 months of work, right? And not only that, but it saved the gym and it added $14,000, almost $15,000 a month in residual to that gym, right? Over $170,000 a year to the gym. So that's one of my favorite case studies. And just to show you guys, again, gyms are the worst. It's not like a gym is like the exception to the rule. Like if we could do this with a gym, imagine the other dozen niches or dozens of niches that are better than a gym that you could crush it way more, right? I've done this for regenerative medicine doctors and blown these numbers out of the water. Now, they weren't as near and dear to my heart, but I mean, I've done marketing and reactivation campaigns for doctors, and they've done hundreds of thousands of dollars within their first 30 days doing this, right? So this just shows you that when you're going to a client and you're charging them a couple grand a month or even $5 grand a month, I have clients that pay me like close to, 10 grand a month, that you're not ripping these people off. Like the results that you can get from doing these strategies are incredible. And this is one of my favorite examples. And I wouldn't be, I would have to show you my very first month. So this is actually my first month. You can see here that this was payouts from Teespring. I found this as an old post on Chris Records, but this is my breakthrough right here. So if you guys want to see my breakthrough, this is my essentially 2 weeks right here in payout. The whole month was about 1.3 million, but you can see here in this just this 2 week period, that was my very first breakthrough. I did over $1 million in payouts in 2 weeks. So hope you guys enjoyed that, and the power of paid ads. We're going to be diving a lot more into acquiring clients, but I definitely wanted to kind of cover that with you so I could give you guys some, just super solid fundamentals that you could, essentially wrap your heads around when it comes to the power of paid ads.
Awesome, brother. I appreciate that so much, man. Let me take the screen, and I'll just real quickly, I know we've gone for a bit today, so I won't continue for too much longer, but I do want to give you guys that snapshot and get you guys set up with and stuff now. But if we can all thank Mike, if you are there in the chat box, I know it makes him happy every week. It makes me happy seeing you guys being appreciative, and because I know you all are, and I know people even on the replays, they write it in the YouTube comments and whatnot as well. So yeah, it's always a massive appreciation to have you on, Mike. And like Mike said, now that we are at a stage where we can now give you guys these snapshots, you've hopefully watched the replays, you're using Go High Level, you're understanding how it all works and what tabs are where and stuff like that. And now that we're giving you these snapshots, we can then focus on the other part of it, which is the traffic side of things and getting traffic to come to you, and even using some tools like the prospecting tool here, which we touched on briefly in one of the earlier webinars, but actually get that connection happening. And also I want to touch on how to use this for affiliate marketing, selling other people's products, and how to use this for e-com, and when they've released a few things of that coming up as well. But Mike, appreciate you, mate. And we will
Appreciate you. I saw in the comments somebody said, shout out Rob Bailey, the king of gym reactivations. I literally, right before I jumped on this call, I mean, I drove here from Dallas, but the last meeting I had before I jumped in here was with Rob. So me and Rob were hanging out in Dallas.
Small world, isn't it?
Small world.
All right, thanks, Mike. I appreciate you so much for jumping on again today. And I'm sure if there's any questions you guys have for Mike, just let me know, and then I'll make sure. Again, you can respond to any emails that I send out, and I'll get back to you with that as well. So awesome.
All right.
Thanks, Mike.
Guys.
Appreciate it, mate. Hope you have
Hey, aloha. Thanks, Luke.
good
Appreciate
afternoon. Aloha, mate. All right, cool, guys. So at the start, I went through that snapshot. First of all, I want to make sure before I go ahead, has anyone not got their free trial yet for Go High Level? If you haven't, put a number 1 in the box. But if you do have it, put a number 2 in the box, or I'll just presume that you do. If you don't, 30-day free trial again at the top here. I have meant to remove the bonuses, but I haven't done that yet. I will do that probably after this webinar or tomorrow. I've actually had a ridiculous night. I've had 2 hours sleep. My poor son, he had an ear infection. Had to get sent home from school the other day on his first excursion ever, with his ear aching, and then then it got better. But then last night, up all night, the poor little man. But it's wild with kids; they don't remember half the things, if they've had a bad sleep or anything like that. But me and my partner were up all night, so it's been one of those mornings. Yeah, thanks, Jason. I hope it gets better soon too as well. But in saying that, if you have not got your free trial, you may as well grab it now, because all these bonuses that I'm going to be sending, and like the snapshot I'm sending now, I want you guys to actively install these with me. So if you haven't already, log into your Go High Level account, and we can do this together. If you do want to wait for the replay to do this, you can do that. But if you are here, or if your screen's big enough, have one window open with your Go High Level account and one not, and I'll try to verbally guide you guys through it as well. But it's pretty simple. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put in the chat box here the link to the snapshot that I shared earlier. So before I do that, I will again, actually what I'm going to do is I'll share it first in the chat box. If you're watching this on the replay, I'll put a link for this one below the actual replay video on the replay page. I won't be, if you're watching this on YouTube, then you won't be able to see this link, because again, it's only going to go out to people that are a part of my audience, that are sign up to the trial. You're in one of my products or services, and again, when I start giving you guys 10 different templates and more in-depth ones and 6-month campaigns that you can just literally one-click install, that's I don't want everyone in the world to be able to access them, so I can't just publicly give them out to everyone, right? And the link for the 30-day offer is on the screen now. GoHighLevel.com. I'll put this in the chat box over here for you guys as well. But the other link I just sent, that will then, if you click on this, actually, you know what? Just for this training, just because I'm nice, because I know not many people are going to want to just copy this, but it's this link here that's in the chat box. And I'm going to delete that now, but I'll paste this. It'll basically just copy that link or click on it, and once you have to be logged into your Go High Level account, paste it. You're then going to be sent to this type of page. Do you want to import this snapshot to this account, right? So make sure again that you're in your agency. That's when you first log in. So you don't want to be in a sub account here, be in an agency. It shouldn't matter if you are in a sub account, but I try to minimize anything ever going wrong. So then we go, yes, import now. And I did some edits on those pages for you. So now that you've got that there, now what we need to do is go to, well, there's 2 different ways we could do this, right? The first is going to be clicking this button here saying create new account. This will create a sub account with this real estate template on it, all right? So if you haven't created a sub account yet that you want to test this on or use this on, go ahead and click on the create new account, and then just put in some random details here. It doesn't necessarily matter what it is if you just, well, for the purposes that I'm sharing now. When you do have a client, you go in and you can edit this stuff around, or if you're creating a sub account for an actual real estate agency or agent, you get their details. But again, it can be any address. I'm just putting any random address here, right? You can then click on it, and then this is where you fill out the information. You change the business name here to real estate. You would then put in, you can just put in false details here for now, even just for this example, real estate Joe Smith, joe@realestate.com. All right, and again, I'm just sharing this way just so you guys can get set up. Put in a fake fake number. And then time zone, you can select it down here if you wish, whatever time zone you're on, probably going to make the most sense, or where you're going to be working with clients with. We can hit save. It might not work because I've already got one called real estate. And then we've got this page here. Now we should have, let me click back here actually. So here, I've got two different ones here. So you want to make sure that you name it, again, because it's probably your first real estate one. You can just call it real estate, or you can call it real estate template, or whatever you like. But we'll go into it. And now we'll have everything added already into this template. So that snapshot's now been added into this new sub account that we've just created. On the flip side, before I go into it, we can go back to agency view. Now, if you already previously created a sub account by going add a sub account and just creating it with no snapshot, and you want to import it import that snapshot that I just sent you to an already existing one, you can go to account snapshots. You've got it imported, and then we can go ahead and push it into a linked snapshot there. But again, you're most likely going to be going ahead and just creating a new snapshot in general, right? So that's where the account snapshots are. But if you've already created a sub account, then you can go down to whichever one it is, go manage client, actions, and then load snapshot, and then you can select from the snapshot that you've just imported most recently, and then continue. All right. So let's go to that new sub account we just created. Let me see as well that make sure everyone's followed along so far. Jennifer said imported, yay. Kevin said snapshot, please. What exactly do you mean by that one? So, Tim says, do we have to get an 800 number? Look, the number I just put in was a random number from here in Australia. You could put in any number just for this trial purposes, but when you have clients, you want to put their numbers in so they get their actual details. I'm going to paste again. If you haven't got the link, it's again in the chat box on the GoToWebinar drop down. I'll send it to you guys here. I'll send it to all here as well. Now, because we're in the client account now, what we can then do is you'll see, say if we go to sites, we don't have any funnels set up yet, but in future different snapshots I'll create for you, we'll start to fill things out with funnels, with blogs, with other things as well. But for me, I like to work with the most minimal viable solutions first, because sometimes I see people's funnels or some of people's flows and they're just so huge and long, and I feel that it's just doesn't. I feel like sometimes things can be too much. I know when I get text messages from certain brands all the time, it really starts to piss me off. And if I don't respond, then they follow up, and it can get really, really annoying. That's the other thing when it comes to just marketing. You could market a million different ways, right? But in the snapshots that I'm creating for you, I do it in a way that I feel is a real positive experience for the end customer. Whenever I write any form of sales copy, I'm always thinking about it from the customer side, not from me as the business owner and what do I think is going to sell. I think, what does the actual customer want? What do they want to read? How would they feel valued if it was me? How would I feel valued if I got this text or this email or this follow-up or whatever it might be, or Christmas special or Black Friday deal or anything like that, right? So yeah, so anyway, if we hit sites, up here under websites, we have got a few different options here. So we can edit this. Let's just call edit this one to, or if you want, you can just click on it on the name itself, or you can go over here, click it there. But let's click on this here. Then you'll see this. I had it. I left one with the already pre-templated and content details in it. So you can see this already has this random logo and random person and random details here. So you can see what it would kind of look like when you go in and replace this information. And again, if you haven't watched our page building training, it's so simple to use this page builder. Literally, say I wanted to add in a new section, I could add in a full width row, and then I want to add in a column, and then I want to add in a headline saying, and I want to change this color to green. Hey, did you see this? And then I wanted to add in, say, 2 columns, and then I want to add in a different element like a fact section, and then I want to add in a map. All right, you can. It's just so easy to play around with, and I'm just going to delete all of that for now. But I've left one of these where you work with the different details in, and if you hit back, we can then go to the one that I removed that information, where it'll say enter your logo here or whatnot. But again, these are all connected as well. So let me run through this first with you here. We've got the home page, we've got a booking appointment. So say they fill these details out, it'll then be sent to the book appointment page. This is already all connected inside of Go High Level. So for the client, if someone books an appointment, it's then going to be added into their calendar. And I'll have to double check what that 404 was there, but the cool thing is I can push any updates to anyone that's downloaded this snapshot as well. But the questionnaire here as well. And again, you can change any of this information that you want. And the way to do that is by not in this page builder itself. So this is basically an element. So you wanted to add in, let's say, survey. It'll then say to select the survey. We've got the real estate one here, or the acquisitions one. But if you want to edit any of this, we can go back. And then there's basic privacy policy over here. But up here under surveys, we've got these questionnaires here. So we can click on the real estate. And we can go in here and edit anything that needs to be changed. We can say, please provide just the address, and then it'll change it there. And then you can hit save right. So it's all connected and set up. for you if there is any changes that you want to actually make. This will then also connect across into your different automation, so which we'll touch on in a second. But back up here to websites, there'll be the version 2 here, which would have the blank sections where you can go in and replace different things, and everything can be replaced. Background images, these are just templates for you to use. You can use them as is. See your logo up here, so you click on this, and then on the left side we would scroll and we can add in an image here. You can just change the text itself. You can even, let me even go add in image, and we can add in a different image and size it all over on the side here. You can also add in, there's a bunch of different ways we can use the page builder as well. So you can essentially have deleted things out so you can know where to add in different images and different text and whatnot. But essentially, this is the only part of the work that you have to do for different clients, is go in and just change things around for them in terms of adding their personal details in. But a lot of it, if you're going for the same niche, you can literally leave the same text for a lot of things. It's only when it's about the personal person, and if they have any videos or anything, you can do, you can play around with it pretty easily. And we're going to go more into this. I'm just kind of wanting to show you what the snapshot actually then provides. And if I go back, and the good thing is with these ones, I've been working with actual businesses or go high level professionals that are running snapshots that are being used in the marketplace for individual clients that have got results, right? So anything that I give you is going to be proven to convert, and it's converting for people live. This is a little bonus when I added in here, and again in the future ones, when I give you, I'll probably give you a 10-pack of different niches in the next week. They're going to be a lot more filled out. But I wanted to add these in today for you guys. So say if they wanted an Instagram link that's mobile friendly for their Instagram bio, kind of like a link tree, right? We got one here, and we can say, we can change this, saying maybe we want to say, welcome to cash offers for your home. Please find all the details below to get your instant cash offer, right? And then we can change this logo out, a picture out. So down here, we put the picture, and then it has this option down here. Say I wanted to change it. All I need to do is click this, and we can then upload our new item. We can even use the AI option here, but this is where you would upload the person's photo, and it'll crop it nicely for them. These different buttons, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, they've all been added as buttons for you, not just images. So you can literally have the button there. We want that link to go to, say, their website, or a different page on our main website, or if we want it to be an SMS or a call or a opt-in or a website URL, we can just add that all in here. Really, really simple to play around with. Again, though, make sure every time that you make changes to it, hit save in the top right corner, because otherwise you'll get, otherwise it might not have saved. It does do auto saves sometimes, but I'm sure we've all experienced things, even if it's on Microsoft Word or PowerPoint back in the day, where you do a lot of work and then it gets deleted, right? But there's contact us page, there's calendars pages here. And again, we can use these to set everything up. So all we need to do is create a calendar, which again I should have done for this snapshot for you guys. Let me just go back here. And under calendar, we're going to go ahead and create. Oh, see, no, I did do it. We did get it done. And we would just then use these calendars here. Copy the embed code, and we can then go back to our site. I know I'm going into a bit more detail here, but let's go websites. Oh yeah, I think that's because these are just some bonus pages, but I will get them all connected in there for you guys. And again, I can make changes on my side and push them across into your accounts if you did want that. Calendar. Oh, see, sorry, didn't have to do that. Click on that. Calendar, real estate. Maybe I need to add something else in there. I'll double check what I've done wrong on this page, but I'll get it updated for you guys ASAP. But let's just say I wanted to add in the HTML that I just did. You can add in the option, open code editor, and we just paste what we got from that calendar page. And let's just save that and preview. Yeah, so there's something I haven't connected properly here, which I'll double check afterwards. I'm sure, again, it's one of those things that I haven't clicked one thing on or off for you guys, but I'll ensure when I give you guys the 10 pack of different templates that it'll all be flowing nicely. We've also got the opportunities here. We've got the pipelines, hot leads, cold leads, under automation. So basically this is going to allow when leads come in through those lead pages, they'll and depending on how they answer questionnaires and the surveys, it'll depend where they end up, and you can then your client can then manage them accordingly. And again, we're going to go further into all of this as well. We can say, look at that versus the cold leads. And what else do we have? There's reputation. I think we've got a reputation. Review request somewhere here. Maybe I haven't done that one for you either. But under automation though, we've got some workflows here that are connected to those different pages. So if you go into real estate, now the concept here is that I want you guys to just go in and play around with kind of everything that I'm sharing with you now, because you're going to be doing this on a sub account and just a test account. I want you guys just to get familiar with using these flows, kind of like I need to do a little bit more of in the sense of with the calendar there, right? Because I don't have a calendar in my own life. The only thing I know that's constant every week is this webinar training. I've never used that for my business itself. So, but this is where we've added a few workflows in here. Again, I've done this on this template or on this snapshot for you guys, just so you can play around with it. It's fine to make mistakes. It's fine to add things and delete them. And if you get confused, let me know, I'll help you. But I want you guys to just be using and clicking the mouse on these different things. So SMS to a lead, right? So we're going to SMS, that'll go, it's already set up. We can SMS to clients. So it'll be hi to their name. So say they've opted in on our actual form page here. That form is real estate, so it's already connected for you here. So the real estate opt-in page. And then if you want to add any other filters, you can as well, but you don't have to. delete that. So they've opted in on the form. We then want to send them an SMS. I wrote here, from your brand name, are you free for a quick call, or does text work better? All right, it'll then wait. We can move this again, say for, let's say, change this to hours. Let's even just say 1 day. All right, and there's advanced things you can do too. If you don't want to message on weekends and whatnot. Save that action, SMS follow-up. So we could say, hey there, just following up with you regarding it's Luke here from X company, wanting to see if you were still interested in getting a instant quote on your beautiful property. Right? You can add attachments and stuff if you want to. And what I'm going to do, you can see here there's templates, but what I'm going to do is just I'm going to do some generic ones as well, because while it's good to create niche flows and for different industries, there's also things that we can snapshots that I'm going to create just for everything. So for, say, birthdays, or for Black Friday, or say Cyber Monday sales, or for Valentine's Day, or Halloween, or Christmas, or whatever it might be, things that you don't see many companies and people doing, that then when you're offering this as a service to clients, you can say, hey, look, what we're going to do is really nurture your leads that come in and your customers. Say, so for every Christmas, every birthday, every this and that, we're going to send them a message. Some, like even just a company wishing you Merry Christmas and offering 20% off, right, is going to be a value add. And with the amount of companies out there, with the amount of companies that have my email, how many send me a Christmas thing? Probably not even a quarter. How many send me a text? Probably even less. But yeah, but I want you to play around with these. And I haven't added it in an email one yet, but say we wanted to, then I want you guys just to play around with these different side buttons and different options here. So say I then want to have a another wait time, wait 1 day, save, and then I want to have email, and then we can have an email go out. So I want you just to play around with these and start adding them into here, right? So then let's say I'll cancel this for now just because I don't want to drag this on too long for you guys. And you can add in different comments. You can just play around with all the buttons just to kind of see what you can do. You might want to have a goal event. You might want them to click a link. You might want them to approve an appointment, whatever it might be. I want you to just play around with them and just try to learn some of the different things in here. Again, we're then going to give you pre-done advanced flows for different types of circumstances. So this is for SMS to new lead. You might get a Facebook ad that is performing better. You might be running 5 different TikTok ads, and you want to know which one's performing the best flow-wise. You could even create 5 different flows. You could send them all through the same flow. But I want to essentially give you all the tools and resources for all of the different flows out that you could think of. But I'm just starting here with the basics, because I know what happens is if I went in and was like, here's 30 or 40 different flows, and at the end of the day, you probably only use 5 or 10 of them maybe. But each person might use 5 or 10 different ones, right? So, and then doing that for each niche, I want you guys to get comfortable with understanding how this works, how knowing that you're going to be getting these, it's all going to be connecting. You've got this one here now. It's really basic, but this is one, at least in the sense, you don't have to create the website. You don't have to connect it to the automation or to the calendars, although there was that calendar issue, which I will fix up for you guys. And I just want you guys to go in there and just have a bit of fun with it, because the more you use it, the more you'll have ideas going, oh yes, I see how this works, or I see how that works. Let me see what questions you got coming in now. Gary says, Eureka, it worked. Will I be able to get the link later? Yes, you will be able to get it later. How many user logins can we create in a sub account? Is there an optimal number? So I'll quickly share this with you here. If we go back to our agency view, again, this is your master account where you'll then manage all of your sub accounts, right? You'll then choose, say you've got a client, let's even just use that real estate one again. We're gonna go manage the client. We're gonna go settings. We're then gonna go to team. So settings is in the bottom left corner. We're then gonna go to team. And then we're going to go ahead and add an employee. So we're then going to put in their details. You can create their password. You use the permissions of what you want them to access inside of their own sub account of Go High Level. And then you want them to not be, you want them to essentially be agency and just a user, not an admin, right? That's going to be the easiest way to get them set up. Alternatively, you can go back into the sub account. One other thing I should share as well is in the top right corner here where it says LM for me, you can actually log in as any other user that you have set up. So you can see what it would look like from their side when they log in, to make sure they don't have access or do have access to certain things that you may or may not want them to have access to. Sorry, and again, sorry, to add a staff member, the way to do that, sorry, is it's not using my team. You could still do it in my team, but it might give them access to areas they don't need. You want to click on the sub account. So say, I'll do it on a different example from real estate. Let's say surgeon marketing masters. You're in their sub account. You then want to click on my staff, and then you want to add an employee. You want to add their user info in, very similar to the page I just showed you a second ago. User permissions, very similar. User roles. This is the different part. That you want to make sure they're a user, not an admin. It's default set to user. Leave it at that, because if you turn it to admin, then they can access other sub accounts under your master account, which would mean other clients. Then you can add in things like what availability they have, and calendar configuration. But to do that, you'll just need to add in, connect their Google account. And again, like we've said in the previous webinars, if you are in a client account, these are the things you should just connect first. Have Google My Business connected, their Facebook, adding a web chat with widget, Stripe if they need it. And you can also add team members here. All right, so you can add a new, add in team members directly in here for this as well. But again, I prefer to do the settings, my staff, and then add the employee, right? So that, hopefully that answers your question there. Gary, let me get back to you on that one. It should have your primary URL should be have this, the SSL set up, but I'll double check on it. If you send me an email, I'll help you out with that. Is my snapshot different to the ones preloaded in your Go High Level accounts? So look, because you got this in my trial link, if you say I wanted to go ahead and create a, I went back to my master account, you're going to get a bunch of, let me go, account snapshots, create new snapshot. snapshot templates. There's going to be a bunch of snapshot templates here where that we've that through my trial link that Go High Level has kindly provided, and these will have different flows. These will have different, so say for your marketing agency, for your own agency, you may as well use this one, right? And get that in there. They've got some different examples as well, and that'll have different pages and flows and automations for a marketing agency, and you get more through my trial than if you just went and picked up the Go High Level directly on their website. They've been really, really good to me, and I'm getting them to add some other things for you guys too. But again, I've got to not give everything at once because it would just overwhelm everyone. But in saying that, the ones that I'm giving you, they are not going to be accessed by anyone else besides people that are on my audience in my trial. I could see, Jennifer says, I can see drip feeding my clients a new nurturing funnel each month as a value add. Yes, 100%. Kerry says, hey Kerry, so many options. Yeah, there is, and that's why I don't want you guys to get too overwhelmed. I want you guys to think, wow, there's so many possibilities here, but also don't think, oh gosh, I need to have all of these things running at the same time, and how do I do it all, and can I manage it? Because one, Go High Level manages it all. And with the snapshots, it'll be set up once you're done. Two, you don't need to have this giant, long, insane flows and to get customers to come in. At the end of the day, we need to always think of it from a business perspective, right? Say we're working with dentists. Dentists, they're going to want, if they're getting new leads, they're going to come in. It's then the dentist's job to give a good experience to that client, and they'll then become a client ongoing for a long time, most likely. That's like hairdressers. You know they say, well, I know for guys they say never cheat on your hairdresser because you'll end up getting a haircut you absolutely hate. But your job is facilitating, nurturing their customers that they have from a marketing side, and also bringing new leads in. And that's what we're going to be teaching, and we have been teaching. But now that we've got everything, the understanding set up, you guys are on the trials, you guys have got Go High Level, you guys are getting the snapshots now. It's a pretty plug and play system that we're going to be making it super, super simple on how to, the best way, I guess, to get clients coming in and have it automated so that the services are just provided and you can just focus on essentially, once things are up and running, the only work you'll need to be doing is just duplicating snapshots of businesses, because the goal, remember, initially focus on one industry or two max, and then sign a client, duplicate it for the next, duplicate it for the next, and your time versus money is just coming in. Is the exchange is that Go High Level does so much work for that business that it's worth that minimal investment, and they get a free trial. Can they change the passwords themselves? They can, but then you have ultimate access. Do you have the questionnaire for information that we need to collect from clients? Do you mean from an agency standpoint? Because I haven't given you guys your own agency templates yet. Again, though, if you wanted to, like, let me click on here. If I went to sites, say I wanted to create a new website or a funnel, either or, let's say I went new website. Because through my trial, you get all of these pre-made websites as well, and you can change things out so easily, and there's all these different niches. Let's go marketing agency. There's already so many here that you can just use from. And then let's say we liked one of these. I'm going to click on this, social media manager, and preview it. And we can continue and install that. And then this will load up, and we can make this our website. We can change the background images again, just like I was showing before. It's all here for you, super simple, super clean. And we'll go through the marketing side of things of, like I said, how to write sales copy and whatnot. And someone said before, I can't believe you wrote all your own sales copy. I for sure thought that you had a business. I for sure thought you had a business copywriter that did your copywriting for you, which I thought was a nice compliment. But yeah, so you can play around with all these different sections here. There's multi-purpose things. There's again a link tree example here, and again, what you'll find is, like see here, the one we used that we created before for not for real estate. This template's quite similar as well. So this is for an Instagram bio, where they can just, instead of needing to use a tool like MediTree, what was it called? Like I forget what it's called. I have a mind blank, but it's basically a little mobile-friendly Instagram link bio link tree, which is a monthly cost as well. You can create things in here for free as well, super simply. That can be used in Instagram bios, TikTok bios for the client, and it just takes 2 seconds to change things out. But that's obviously by installing that website page there. We can do the same with funnels. WordPress, I saw a question earlier regarding how do we bring WordPress sites over into Go High Level. Well, actually, Go High Level's actually made it their own plugin that you can install on clients' websites if they have a WordPress website. That connects it all as well. It's, again, like a one-click install. I'll touch on that in the future. Again, automation though here, you can create a new workflow. And because I'm giving you guys all of these different automations in the pre-built templates for different niches, you don't need to use these generic ones here. These are the ones that Go High Level have provided. But I saw one here for a dead, someone asked, what do we do to reactivate a dead list? If they have a dead email list or a customer has a dead email list. I saw one somewhere here, reactivation email sequence. So if I wanted to add this one in, I can do that quite easily here. And the email, you can see here, it just kind of gives you, just say, it tells you what to put in here. But in the snapshots I'm giving you guys, they'll be filled out with all the correct information. And to answer that question of how do I turn a dead list or an uninterested either text message or mobile number list or website list, how do I turn that into customers again or reactivate it? Well, it's essentially by providing value and nurturing. And if you're an agency or if you've been in marketing for some time and you might even have a big email list, it could be offering your audience 30 days of Go High Level for free. Absolute killer way to re-engage an audience, right? What other questions we've got here? Would you also please share client agreement templates which they need to sign at opt-in time? Look, I can, but and we can go through that. But essentially, if you watched last week's webinar, I showed you how to set up that trial button or the trial page using PayPal. You can do it with Stripe as well. Create the trial. So that's essentially going to be the contract for you there. And they can cancel it at any time if they want to. But the thing is, when you get a client on for a free trial, you connect their basic details that you'll see on when they first log in. So these details, like their Google, their Facebook, basic things here that will then allow the calendars to work and whatnot. They'll start. It all just works. Leads come in, and then they go through the pages. It flows. It all connects. Automations go out, and they just are going to be indoctrinated. Well, they're going to be brought into it. That they don't need all these other tools. They don't need to spend thousands with different agencies. It all just works together. Jason and Georgia said Linktree. Yes, I don't know why I had a mind blank. I think it's a lack of sleep I've had. If I get clients on a trial, do I have to manage them myself if they need support, or can I pass them to Go High Level? so they can help them. Look, because the way we're teaching it this way, you can send them to support if it's a tech-related question. If it's a marketing-related question, tech support's not going to be the best to answer that because they're not marketers, they're just helping with tech. But on the flip side, you being I guess their connection that's got all those different flows and templates set up. If you can answer it for them, give them that value if it takes you 2 seconds to do. Or if you can YouTube a resource for them and answer that question, do it for them, because I promise you, the more that you help in easy ways that take you 2 seconds to do, the better. Also, because that person then has a better experience, and with local marketing especially, word of mouth is such a important. You'll see, like, most businesses get more business from word of mouth. Restaurants get, like, that's a good example. My dad, he's an event manager. He's never done marketing. Everything comes from word of mouth, and he's been doing it for 50 something years. And it's all, but it's while you can, to answer it in a short version, you can send them to Go High Level Support, but if you can answer it for them or figure the answer out quick, just help them out. It works better in the long run, in my opinion. Understand that we can add WordPress subscription for clients. Is WordPress free for me? So essentially, to have WordPress, you need a hosting account. You can either use Go High Level and have WordPress set up in here. It'll be you can then charge that on to clients. Otherwise, I think it's a couple of bucks a month if you want to use Go High Level's hosting. Gary says, yeah, make it sticky, and you don't need need a contract. That's exactly right. And yeah, cool. Any other questions we've got here, let me know. Otherwise, I think the next webinar I'm doing is on Friday. I think it's Friday. To double check. Let me have a look. I can have a quick look quickly now. Again, it's more of a webinar where I've been trying to do not talking, just training. But I never like ignoring you guys in the comments. When is it? Thursday. Might be tomorrow. I guess it is tomorrow, and it'll just be me. We'll go through another snapshot on that, and I'll probably just try to tighten up some of the training that I've taught today, hitting the wrong buttons as well. So if you guys want to be a part of it, I'll send that to you down there. Also, my YouTube channel, last week's bonus training, says high level bonus training 60-minute power session. I'll add that in the chat box here. Make sure to subscribe to my YouTube. Don't worry, it's literally just a place where I upload any replay videos and whatnot, because it's not like one of these, I'm not like a YouTuber. It's more just a place where I post my videos because it's easier for you guys. But what I wanted to mention, on webinars like this, you'll see, if you watch any of the replays, down the bottom here, 1 second. Down the bottom here, there's these different sections. See, key links to the trial, creating sub-accounts and logins for clients, creating trials, creating a trial button in PayPal, how to create buttons inside of Go High Level, such as integrating the payment processes, mic trends on Facebook ads library and TikTok ads library, so on and so forth. There's a lot down there, but I've broken it down. So if you guys like that, like, has anyone been using that? Put a 1 in the box if you have been using that, or a 1 in the box if you want me to keep doing that. Because I'm happy to. I just literally have to go through the 3-hour webinar again and pause it each time. And the way to do that, if anyone wants to know, if you ever do YouTube, just if you write 00.00, that will then say to YouTube to put a mark here, and then the next time zone that you enter, it'll then put a little cut mark, and whatever you type after it, yeah, it'll just add it in there. So that's how you add in these different sections in YouTube, if anyone ever needed to know that. Yeah, I'm also taking suggestions for niches. So please let me know niche suggestions. We had painters, podiatrists, doctors, a few other ones that we had earlier on that I wrote down. Awesome. Jennifer said she liked the chapters. Everyone said they liked the chapters, actually. Look at that. All right, awesome, guys. And my plan is now in the coming weeks to not have as much, I guess, looking at the big picture trainings in terms of like, you know, today we like, and in the past ones, we said, imagine if you could sell it for this and this and this, and we hopefully really established now that the value you're giving and the way of doing it this way with the free trials and the compounding effect and the social proof, and you know, it's funny even how Mike before was just said, oh yeah, my dad was one of the founders of Hyatt. Just drop that randomly, right? Like, you're learning from people that have gone through it, and they want you to see the big picture. I personally am never share details, or very, very rarely will be like, this is what I made and this is what I've done and whatnot, because I know it can sound a bit silly. Back when I was learning, when someone was like, oh, I've earned this amount, or I spent 20 grand and made 40 grand. But like Mike said, he said that sounded crazy to him as well. And the goal isn't to have you guys needing to do that out the gate, right? The only way you ever do that is if you're at a point where you've worked your way up from spending 50 bucks to make $200 or $500 to make 3 grand, right? That it makes sense. It always has to make sense. And we're going to be going from the basics and working that way up. And I've already seen here a couple of people said they've already got their first clients, because you guys have obviously done a good job and skipped ahead and gone through those bonus university trainings. Again, I'll send that link for the bonus. Does everyone have the bonus university training links that Go High Level provided as well? You can go through those as well if you do. I've added them in that teachable course. Can we or our customer import existing clients and manage them? Yes, of course. In Go High Level, you go to your sub account. So whether it's your agency or whether it's, say, the real estate, that's the whole point of it. We want to get all the customers and all their audiences off whatever they're using and into just using Go High Level, because one, it's beneficial for them on a massive scale, but two, it's also really important to make it really sticky. When they can use one tool with one login that all connects and works better, it works that way. So we have contacts over here on the left, and then you would go in, you can go ahead and create lists. You can bulk add in contacts. You can there's also, yeah, that you can play around with all the different ways you can add in autoresponders. Well, maybe that's what we'll do in the next webinar as well, is get into the actual autoresponder side of things as well. So that might be cool. There's also a bunch of other things, like I said, like the new beta features, integrations with other platforms, email services, you can connect. And we can add in all those details in here. But yeah, let me see what else we've got. Other questions here before we finish this one off? Yeah, Jennifer says, yeah, and that's kind of like where I like to teach, in the mindset of, look, big numbers are great, let's have that goal, and but I never want things to seem not achievable, because you know, you'll hit, like, every big goal comes from lots of little goals being hit, right? So like Jennifer says she'd love to quit her day job as the first goal. And the cool thing with this is, because Go High Level does the work, and the client is just going to be happy, it just makes sense. So the link again for the trial, if you want that 30-day trial here, and then the replay page is here too. I'll place this replay there shortly. How do we launch the website? So how do you get a website up and running on a domain? Again, I can cover that again tomorrow if you like, but on tomorrow's training in a shorter webinar. But I believe we covered that in, I think it was either webinar 2 or 3. It might have been this one here. Let me just double check. I need to add the chapters in here. Oh yeah. Yeah, I'll add chapters in here, but it was webinar 3. So we bought a domain name, we went in and we connected it all, and then we got it all live. Even like this page here with the replays. I use Go High Level for this. So that's the one to look at. I'll put the replay page in the chat box as well. Awesome, Tyrone, appreciate that. Jennifer, you were good. You said webinar 3. Yeah, so Paul, it says that the bonuses we're going to include the High Level University, which I've actually, I sent the link out, but let me just, let me pull this out here. Let me go. And I'll send that bonus page because I did send it out probably, I think I sent it out again yesterday to everyone on the trial by accident. And also, depending on what you guys feel like and if you need, I'm going to get, even though there is Go High Level Tech Support, I'm thinking about bringing on a team member that can, if you do get super stuck, that you can, I'll bring on a team member that can actually come on with you on a call, or can even log into your account for you if you add them as a team admin and help you with any problems you get stuck with on a bit more of a personal level. But again, like I said, if you ever do get stuck with something, the easiest way, in my opinion, is first it's not even going to high level support, going to YouTube and type in, like someone just said, how do I make a site live on Go High Level or GHL? And you'll find so many different, connect your own domain name to client's domain, Go High Level, and just got 7-minute video, and you can find the answers out so quickly. The reason why people do so many of these different little tutorial videos is because they're trying to get you to sign up to their 7-day free trial, and hopefully because they want to help people as well. But again, sometimes I find some of them can be a bit confusing and sometimes even outdated, because Go High Level does update and add new things and make things easier. So yeah, but usually YouTube's pretty good at segmenting out what people are actually wanting to see with their algorithm. Yeah, and I put the bonus links there. So for the Go High Level University, I've added them all into Teachable, and again, I'm about to take these over into a Go High Level membership site, because I want to cancel this, and I've sent in that document, you'll get access to them. Again, these are all paid products. You get all my other high ticket courses as well, but you can register in that Google Doc that I sent down below, and you'll get Go High Levels high ticket trainings like Entrepreneur Domination, Fast Track 5-day challenge, and High Level VIP Domination course. So these are included as well, plus a few other bonuses there for everyone that goes through my link. But in saying that, guys, I think we're all on the same page, hopefully. Any more questions, let me know. Otherwise, I will be getting back to you guys tomorrow. Well, tomorrow I've got that other value webinar, I think I've got it set as, and we'll probably just go through some, I might drop another snapshot tomorrow, but I will send it out on the replay. But again, be on the YouTube page, be on the webinar replay page. I'll send emails out about it. If you are not a part of the trial, just jump on. It costs you nothing to just jump on it and be a part of it. It'll then put you on my Go High Level list, because again, I am not going to, again, I hate the saying, but flog a dead horse with offering all of this value to every single person on my audience, because if they're not interested, because it's going to annoy them, it's not worth it for me to send all the value out to a bunch of people that might not be interested in it. And I just want to work with the people on Go High Level that are doing it, and then continue to provide other value to everyone else in the other ways that I normally do. But again, as you've seen, it's been over a month, and it normally is over a month anyway, where I don't promote or share any products, because, you know, even though I've been hit with so many products, and every month I go through people's products that they send me and see if they work and see if they're good and see if they could be useful. But this month, it's been over a month actually now, but I said I'm not looking at anything because this is the only thing I'm focusing on. But I know people have asked me about different products and services that have come out, but my focus has only been on this, and I think it should be everyone's too. Josh, yep, you can do that. Josh says, how do you set up 30-day free trials? So again, on the webinar replay page, I think I just went through it, how to do that. Yeah, cool. Nathan said, get some rest. Yeah, I know. 2 hours sleep isn't the best, but we've got my son home from school today, so I'm going to go have a nice relax with him. Hopefully, watch some relaxing children's show and zone out for a bit. But I'll get the replay out ASAP. Jennifer says, yeah, I watched a few models of Local Social Academy about agencies, and they were really helpful. Yeah, so that's another bonus that you guys will get in here is Local Social Academy. You will get, and it's interesting, I said this last week, but Andy, look, Andy, yeah. Sorry, my microphone just dropped out a bit. Sorry, guys. My microphone just dropped out. And then I got some food stuck in my mouth. But yeah, so all these different sections here, from creating a branding and agency, creating an agency website. This is my high ticket course from years ago, where these were all different services that I'd have to use, where now with Go High Level, it basically, you don't need all these different products and services, but there's a lot of good information here still, like choosing a brand name, defining a brand, designing a logo, how to write sales copy. But this new content from Go High Level, these are all the replays here as well. And I constantly add, I need to publish these, there we go. They'll be added in here too. And again, this is a bonus you get. It's normally $1,000 people pay for it, but you get it free. Someone said about copywriting, so Luke via how to write copy. Here, watch this one, guys. See, look at High Level even targeting me there. Pure Value AI copywriting training with Luke McGuire. I put this in the chat box. This is a more recent one, webinar I did on how to write sales copy with the one key rule. Even if you just learn the one key rule and don't use AI, it will change the game for you in terms of sales. And again, that's what I always say. People buy from benefits, not features. And I put that link there if you ever want to watch that. But I might even just talk about that briefly for 20 minutes tomorrow, 10 minutes tomorrow. Josh said I was trying to manage all of my Go High Level without PayPal. Yeah, I've integrated with authorize.net. Yep, you can definitely do it with authorize.net. You can do it with Stripe, and I should do that tomorrow on tomorrow's training too. Paul says, yeah, hope my son feels better quickly. I remember raising mine. Sometimes it's just a hug and a hold. Time well spent. Exactly right, my friend. 6 p.m. on Thursday, I think the other webinar was. And again, don't feel like you have to show up. I'll send the replay out. It's more just me being around answering your questions and going over a few things a bit more step by step that we've covered today in a more short form version. Mike won't be on it, it's just me. But if you want to turn up, turn up. All right, guys, appreciate you all so much, and I'll see you guys either tomorrow. The replays will go out, and again, make sure to pick up your trial here if you haven't, because I will be now segmenting out users, emails, and all of the bonus snapshots I'm giving to everyone, and all of these, a few other big things I'm actually going to be doing for you guys that are in Go High Level, out from anyone that's not been a part of the trial. And look, the thing is, even if you join the trial and then you say, look, okay, I need another month or two, you can, like, if you decide to opt out, you'll still be on that email list. But I want to make sure that not, because I've got a list of over 250,000 people, right? I've only even shared this 30-day offer with my top, I think it's top 20% of my audience. It hasn't even gone out to my entire audience. But I know some people just, for whatever reason, it's not for them, but I can't see how this isn't. So make sure you're in there, and you'll get those new snapshots from me within the next few days. 4 different niches, and if you have niche requests, send me an email. But I'm going to cover most key niches. And again, when thinking about a niche to go after, think about companies that have high income, medium to high income, that can afford some form of marketing budget. I said this last week, you don't ever want to work with someone that's business is about to crash. They're putting all the onus on you to make their business survive. Say it's a restaurant or a dentist, and just say they're bad at doing what they do for a living. Nothing's going to save it. The last thing I want is for you to get that as a client. They're with you for 1 month. They then call you 24 hours a day, and they expect you to change everything for them in seconds. And then when they're already in a high stress position, and if they then blame it on you, then you feel bad. It kills your confidence. And the only reason I say this is because this happened to me when I first started doing local agency work. So, and again, when you find clients that just make decent income, they're paying $60, $70 a week for everything that Go High Level does. And with those snapshots all automated for them through you, it's the easiest sell ever. And you even giving them a trial, right? So yeah, makes sense. All right, guys. Yeah, thanks, Darren. Josh, final question, is plumbing too competitive to break into? Definitely not. Definitely not. This is such a huge opportunity, because people aren't even using 3 tools, let alone 15 tools in one. And people don't have a setup the way that this can provide businesses. It'll change their business. You'll be blown away. And that's our goal of now actioning those steps in the coming weeks. So yeah, can I work for hotels, Airbnb? Yeah, definitely. For bookings, for leads, for registrations, for payment gateways, for anything you can do online, you can do inside of Go High Level. The beauty of it is you don't need to use different tools like Zapier and different things and code and developers and any of this stuff, because it's all in the one place. So yeah. Tim just shoot me an email, respond to my email, any of them that I've sent out. Josh says Airbnb business is falling apart in a lot of areas in the US. Yeah, it's pretty, there's more rules happening here in Australia too. Okay. Mortgage brokers is a niche. Awesome, cool, we'll do that. Get it all done for you guys. I appreciate you all. And I'll see you on tomorrow's training if you're there. See, 6 p.m. Thursday, I think it is, but I'll double check. All right, guys, have a great one, and I will see you tomorrow. Thanks, bye.